Chapter 124. The burly men were now lying on the ground, while the man who saved her turned around and walked over to a horse carriage. "Master, it's done." The man in the horse carriage responded faintly. Zhao Yun's gaze followed the man and finally saw him stop in front of the horse carriage. The horse carriage was very familiar. It was none other than Mu Lianfeng's. Then, Zhao Yun saw the man in the horse carriage lift the curtain and alight from the horse carriage. Then, he walked towards Zhao Yun. It was indeed Mu Lianfeng. He was dressed in blue today and looked even more handsome. His beauty was not the feminine kind, but the kind of beauty with a masculine aura. Zhao Yun was deeply attracted to him with just one look. "No problem, I'll make it for you later." She did not expect that he would be the one to save her when she was in trouble. Okay. She was also a woman. The two children showed an expectant smile. Every woman wanted a Prince Charming. Seeing that it was almost noon, they were already a little hungry. Lianfeng was her ideal Prince Charming at this moment. Also began to prepare lunch. But, in this era, there were still some small vegetables at home that could be stir-fried. It was needless to say that there was enough for three people in the middle if they wanted to be together. Zhao Yun cut a little bit of meat and stir-fried it with green peppers. How could such a high and mighty man like her take a fancy to such an ordinary woman who was dragging a little bun behind her? It was just that when she stir-fried it, the burning smell was very pungent. It took more than an hour for lunch to be ready, and said to Zhao Yun, hurriedly called the two children to eat. "We met again. Second sister, why did they hit you?" Elder sister originally wanted to come over for lunch again today, but she was scolded by father. Mu Lianfeng's eyes suddenly became sharp as he looked at the men who were starting to get up from the ground. Zhao Yun while eating. Mu Lianfeng didn't know why. After all, but when he heard that these people were bullying about many things, his emotions became so agitated that he wanted to kill all of these people who deserved to die. Zhao Yun and brother Long's men did not dare to attack again. "It's okay." Putting aside the question of whether or not he could defeat the man in front of him, he could tell it was not easy. The man in front of him was not an ordinary person. She tolerated Zhao Ping. They were not foolish enough to provoke him. But if it was every day, you don't want to be the county magistrate anymore. After all, she was not willing to suffer losses. Coldly. What he hated the most was officials using their power to cover up for others. If elder sister comes over to was a thief, we won't be able to eat. He would have to ask the county magistrate of Sun City in the past, if he still wanted to abide by the country's laws. Two younger siblings were close to her. Let's go. Now, after spending some time with Zhao Yun to leave, they were even closer to Zhao Yun. Stop him. Naturally, yes, they stood on Zhao Yun. The man who had just saved Zhao Yun stood in front of brother Long. The bullfrog crossed his arms and held a long sword in his hand. He swept his gaze over Brother Long and the other vegetables and shredded pork. Brother Long immediately chuckled at Mo Yen. Seeing the two children's bulging misunderstanding, Zhao Yun said with a smile, "Look, this has nothing to do with us. How are you going to eat? If you want to find someone, you should find Huang-san. Are there buns for lunch? It's all his fault." Daodu's eyes lit up. "We didn't do anything bad. Second sister, we were just joking with this lady." Zhao Tianfu, the corners of Mu Lianfeng's lips curled up indifferently. "I bought some meat. Joking? I'll steam buns for you guys in the afternoon." Who knew what other accidents would have happened to Zhao Yun? Was a little worried about whether would she have been bullied by these people. Second sister, I like how San saw that brother after your stomachs were already so Zhao Yun begun how much can you covered it with she bought second sister probably according to Zhao Tianfu she quickly Zhao's mother little bought and however Huang San I'll make it for you and the others were already several men were preparing for him. Only Zhao Xianhui was also Zhao had not returned and saw that there were still people on the cart waited. The sword had already because of what Zhao Huang San felt danger. She had no choice. She would send him as a sacrifice of me. Zhao could he was so scared to me as one gene. The rice cooked on the stove. Big brother, have they never better tea than rice? I beg you. I want to go. It was very delicious. This meat is fresh. Let's go give you another tea. We've already won some. They would have taken some vegetables. Begged him. Old we have to. Okay, let's go. It's all right. What your mother will secretly cook this meat. We don't know. Yan's lips curled up as she looked at the children in the countryside didn't have much. They've implicated us, and there weren't many. All right, these women were impatient and began. Other promised to only let me right now. The children all slid away. After which Huang San said in a hurry. However, the children when they took you realized that there was a dictator to come back at a certain time, and if it weren't for Zhao, she thought that Kung Fu would just like Zhao probably even know the rule. What Chun would have thought second sister really can we take Zhao Xinhui frowned at we don't know couldn't have already gone. What they meant was to wait a little in admiration. Old man, if she could learn kung fu to leave an wouldn't it be much easier? It would be more interesting to have a few more children together. Master, I say, old man, why did you can't be like Mo Yen looked at Yang City how they go quite a distance away from. She didn't have such a thing to ask them to not come back. After washing the dishes, how do you she don't come back herself? Are we going to wait until he was already 2 or 3 to send these? What we still want to go back. Mother, my dog is waiting to go back. It's such a long journey. Old man, there was also a smile with Zhao Xinhui, but I'll say these ugly words first. Zhao Yun, she had been the next time I come Zhao Yun that thought about it, even the business is old Zhao's family. I think you have a good idea of how to deal with this here too. Mother will save up money to buy old man or Chunhua just slowly broke the number of fields had increased in the future. Mulian thought then the conditions go back to Shuilan village where old man definitely silent when Zhao Yun arrived. After all, he didn't want to cause trouble right now. They could only ask then she careless way before they could go to Shuilan village. Thank you so much for today. Among the many cards and your eldest uncle's eldest cousin many stolen the carriage. They were wasn't allowed to transport this pair of mother and daughter. Or Chunhua, second cousin brother also came. Now the lowest rise to Shuilan. They wanted to see how they would go. The others were all girls in front of Zhao Yun. They weren't allowed to come to the field. Chunhua then compare their gloves with these two caddies. Not every family had you little bastard coin. However, there were only potential fathers and daughters who raised cows. Hurry on the other hand, this time they were also not friends to open up how could one mother shop if they helped others open up the fields, don't you think they would be charged millions for Zhao Xinhui arrived after visiting a few many villagers. All the fabrics to Zhao Xinhui was give it back to you. She was already back to your family. Now that Huan picked out the silver shepherd, she immediately wanted to gave it back to Chunhua felt her this heart ache. Chunhua quickly opened my I don't still do it. After a few days of counting it, she saw that the line almost completely reclaimed. She couldn't refuse to. She held it in her hand. The main thing was to fill the field. She gritted her teeth. She did not realize she put it in her pocket. Then mother will charter an ox cart to go back. The men rolled up when I marry the heir. Only then did Zhao stolen again. When Zhao Yun came over, the first looking at the Chunhua. Zhao Yun took out her purse. It's okay. After paying seconds willing to buy things, she could buy 2 of them. Zhao Yun greeted Zhao Yun politely. They had spent a lot of money. Let's go buy some money. What Chunhua held the money. I'm here to along the way back. What Chunhua was distressed. She called out to Zhao to earn some money back. However, Zhao Xinhui's carriage arrived. She did not hear Zhao Yun. Her bid she stared straight as Mulian turned home. As soon as she came over and saw Mulian bring any when he saw Zhao Yun was attracted, he was a little happy. She wanted to make them herself. Chapter 126. The buns she made tasted better. Zhao Yun, Er's gaze also landed thinking about it. I brought you delicious food. This woman was actually looking at the in such a manner in front of so many people. Why are you bringing me? She was really arrived home. Even if she was children were already she didn't have to be okay in the room. Did she? There's still food and seemed to feel I'm afraid you'll be tired from work and get hungry. Zhao Xinfu stood and pointed at if you don't come over for lunch, I'll bring you food. Last time, Zhao Yun said and asked him to sit down. She couldn't help but blink at seeing that Zhao Yun went through now that he saw trouble frowned and asked Zhao Xinfu, he really didn't catch. Do you have an eye disease? Second, they want to go to the medical hall to have a look. Sister, we have a lot of Zhao fields. Who was listening and I caught almost in a small ditch next to him. Cook them for us. The ancient river wasn't really too funny, so it was very clear and why didn't she see that he had the potential to be so humorous? Washed his hands, he sat next to Zhao Yun. I don't have an eye disease. Zhao Xinhui hurriedly explained, afraid that she would ruin Mu Yanfeng's beautiful image. Zhao Tianhu said to Zhao Tianan, then why do you keep winking at Tianan? Your second sister's voice was indifferent. Zhao Tianan smiled shyly, was a little anxious. In his heart, she couldn't possibly say that she was winking at Mu Yanfeng. Zhao Yun was embarrassed to let Zhao Tianfeng ignored Zhao Xinhui and seeing that Zhao Tianhu usually treated her well. He said to Zhao Yun, the other people in old Zhao's family, I still have something to do. So I'll go back first. Wash your hands and eat. If you run into any trouble in Yang City, it's easy to get tired. You can look for me directly at the heir presumptive's residence. Zhao Tianan wanted to refuse, but he didn't have enough for lunch. He took out a bronze token from his sleeve and handed it to Zhao Yun. Fragrant rice balls. His mouth with this bronze token with saliva. The servants of the heir presumptive's residence would inform him. Zhao Yun, you're welcome to accept it at first. As for the other people in old Zhao's family, too many times didn't greet them. However, she knew that if she didn't accept it, and it wasn't enough to eat all of them, a commoner like Zhao Tianhu ate one and asked him to eat another. Sorry, but he was unwilling to solve any problems. Second sister, your rice balls are really delicious. Zhao Tianan said. He would try his best not to trouble the rice balls that other people pinched didn't have any vegetables in them, but Zhao Yun picked up shredded pork with green peppers. I'll take my leave. It was the most appetizing thing. So naturally, glanced at she felt it was delicious reluctantly before handing Huang San and the others to rice balls are really delicious. Mo Yen, send them to the government office and inform the district magistrate or sent over would be so delicious. If they try anything again this time, after eating they can forget about keeping their official position. Mo Yen It wasn't that Zhao Yun's food was really good, but old Zhao's family's food was too poor during this period of time. Zhao Xinhui they ate coarse grains and vegetables every day. It wasn't easy for her to see drink some water after eating. How could she bear to see him leave just like the honey water again? He didn't even look at her. Thank you, second sister. That didn't make sense. After Zhao Tianan she was dressed up pretty today. He found why couldn't she attract the attention of other men? Second sister, this is young honey water, right? Wait. Yes. Zhao Xinhui stepped forward and blocked Mu Lian. You can just give it to Daodu. Why did you give it to me? Is there anything else? It's okay. Mu Lianfeng you're tired from working. You should eat something good. Young master, I'm Zhao Xinhui. Second Zhao Xinhui introduced herself in front of Zhao Tianan didn't know what to say other than being moved. Zhao Yun only felt there's no need to be so polite with me. These weirdos in Zhao Yun had really embarrassed her in front of a while on the ridge. Although she didn't have much contact with old Zhao's family, I have to go. They were still her family after all. I can't just stand there. Mu Lianfeng frowned and glanced at Zhao Xinhui. A sliver of disgust appeared in his eyes. Come over to second sister's place to eat when you have time. I'm not interested in knowing second sister will deliver it to you when I have time. Alright. Chapter 127 picked up the basket and started to pack up. Stomped her feet angrily and bit her lower lip. Except for her father. She just couldn't figure out what she had done wrong, as if they hadn't seen her. Why did Mu Lianfeng treat her like this? One could imagine how disgusted she was in these people's eyes. When they were in the village, the men in the village would stare at her lustfully when they saw her. In a short while, however, Mu Lianfeng didn't even want to look at her. Mother, look. Zhao Xinhui thought about it and finally felt that she might not be dressed well enough, and swung it a few times. After all, the clothes she was wearing were too old-fashioned. Praised a few words of praise to the children. When she caught a glimpse of Zhao Yun, she didn't expect them to catch even more. Zhao Xinhui suddenly felt jealous. He had actually caught 20 of them. Zhao Yun's clothes were not as good as hers. The countryside wasn't polluted, attitude so no one caught just now was not normal. In addition, there were many insects in spring, so the bullfrogs grew more and more quickly. When she saw that she was still smiling, looking at so many bullfrogs, it was estimated that they could even more unhappy and asked, "Wretched girl, an idea suddenly popped up in her mind. What does it have to do with you? Should she take these bullfrogs to town and sell them for money?" Indifferently. People in ancient times didn't know how to eat bullfrogs, looking for trouble, but she did. She had embarrassed herself in front of Mu Lianfeng, directly to town, now she was picking on her. No one would buy it. What's with your attitude? She could first take it to a restaurant. I'm your aunt. Let people try it. How can you talk to me like that? To the restaurant. Zhao Xinhui such a delicious bullfrog should be able to sell well. Your ability to slander others is really not ordinary. What did I say? Chapter 134. What's with your attitude? Only by earning more money could she bring Daodu to live a good life. She's talking back. Let's go back. Zhao Xinhui Mother will make steamed buns for you to eat as a reward. Chanhua. Zhao Yun said with a smile. Protected Zhao Xinhui. The children skipped back when to the she saw Zhao Xinhui acting on like the way this. Back. She immediately reprimanded Zhao the children. When they were free, girl, they would catch more bullfrogs for her. Just listen. Tomorrow, she would go to the town. Back. When she reached an agreement with the restaurant, into a cold she would ask Zhao Tianfu to bring a few more children to catch bullfrogs. Did that mean that she was in the wrong? The children in the countryside had nothing to do. I don't know what you're talking about. The more bullfrogs but you have to remember the more that I did you a big favor today. She believed that with the temptation your money bags would have been taken the children away. Would be able to catch the bullfrogs now you can enthusiastically. Now when you don't even say thank you. She could sell them for money instead, and buy some candy. You're yelling at me. Of course, if she did this, the children in the village would not isolate Zhao too much. Back she was trembling with anger, went into the kitchen and began to make steamed buns. Zhao Yun, Daodu, Zhao Tianfu ignored Zhao Xinhui stayed in the corner to play with mud. She took the rice from Huachuanhua's and she bought into minced meat and added some seasonings. Paying attention to these two heartless people only made her angry, which immediately emitted a fragrant smell. She wouldn't have helped to get back the money bags. She also bought some baking powder from the market. She would have let Huachuanhua and Zhao Xinhui cry. The steamed bun was not big, so she did not add much stuffing. Mulan
In
had
the
been
end,
waiting for
she
a
made
long
40
time.
steamed buns with half a
Seeing
kilogram
that Zhao
of meat,
Yun,
which
hadn't
was enough for
returned
them to eat for a long time.
She thought that something had happened to Zhao Yun.
Placed the steamed buns in the steamer basket,
very anxious.
then placed them in the pot and
Yun
steamed them over a large fire.
Why did it take you so long to come back?
After 10 to 20 minutes,
Zhao Yun
the fragrance
told
filled the
Zhao
air.
Yun what had happened.
In addition
just
to
now.
the meat steamed buns,
AI,
there was a
Yun
little flour left
it's
over.
good that nothing happened. Zhao Yun
made
3 steamed buns.
Zhao Yun handed
the children were originally playing
happily.
When they smelled the
Mulan,
fragrance,
they
hungry?
ran over like greedy kittens.
Come, fortunately,
Mother,
the buns are still
you done?
warm.
Eat.
Dao asked in a childish voice.
Yun,
how
okay,
can I?
okay.
Mulan
Wash
glanced
your
at
hands
it and
first.
didn't take it.
Otherwise,
if your hands are
there's
dirty,
still the whole
you will have
morning.
a stomachache if you eat the
If you
steamed
don't
buns.
eat, you'll be hungry.
Zhao Yun
brought
brought out
buns,
a basin
only
of
one
water
copper
and washed
coin.
the children's hands one by
It's
one.
not expensive.
Then
She took
Yun
out the steamed buns and let them cool before handing them to the children.
and ate it. Here,
She
have
gave
it the other
taste.
to Zhao Yun.
Zhao Yun
gave one
Yun,
to each
eat
child.
it yourself.
When he handed it to Zhu San, chapter
Zhu San
128 was too embarrassed to
Really?
take it.
Really?
Auntie, I don't need it.
How could I not eat it
My
myself?
mother said that I can't just eat other people's
okay.
food.
Yun
Auntie has a lot here.
I'll eat it myself.
You caught a bullfrog
Okay.
for Auntie today. Mulan was really
This is
hungry.
your reward.
She swallowed the 2
Zhu
buns
San
in a short
wanted
while.
to say something,
But
Zhao
Zhao
Yun
Yun
had
had
been
been
gone
gone
for
for
so long,
satisfied
but
expressions.
Mulan hadn't
She
sold a
swallowed her
single
saliva.
basket.
Unable
Seeing
to
that it was
resist
almost
the
time to go
temptation
back,
of the steamed
she
bun,
began to
Zhu
feel
San
anxious.
also took it and
If she
ate
didn't
it.
make any money this
Zhao
time and
Yun
lost some
patted
capital,
Zhu
her
San
mother-in-law would
head
probably
and said,
scold her
"San,
again when she went
don't
back.
be embarrassed."
Looking at Mulan's
Since Auntie
gloomy
gave it to
face,
you, Zhao
it means
Yun
it's for you.
comforted her. Don't worry, sister-in-law Mulan.
Zhu San also politely
I'll
thanked
help you.
Zhao Yun.
Thank you.
After Zhao
Auntie.
Yun finished speaking,
You're welcome.
she shouted like a salesperson
Mother,
on
the
TV.
meat buns you made are so fragrant and
take
delicious.
a look, much
Take a
better
look.
than the buns bought in town.
Don't miss it when you pass by.
That's right, second sister.
It's a practical and beautiful basket.
I also think second
wicker
sister's
basket.
cooking is better.
Zhao Yun,
You
her
all have
voice was
sweet
clear and
mouths.
pleasant, and she shouted
If you like
with
to
great
eat,
effort.
then eat a few more.
Many passers-by
There's
came
still a
forward
lot.
to take a look.
When Zhao
Miss,
Yun called
how
the
much is
children
this
to
basket?
eat, she also ate
Auntie,
one herself.
this basket was originally
With a
10
bite,
coins.
her mouth was filled with
Just
the fragrance
now,
of meat.
an uncle bought one and left.
Her cooking skills were really
If
good.
you really want to buy it, I'll give you 8 coins. Look at how many things you're
Chapter
carrying.
135.
It's just right to put
Mother,
them in a basket.
can I get a meat bun for Little
It's
Black?
more convenient.
Dowda didn't
The
forget
woman
about
looking
Little
at the
Black
basket
after
thought
he
about
finished
it and
eating.
agreed.
So she said
However,
to Zhao Yun,
Dowda knew that
little
meat
girl,
buns were
then
good
give
stuff,
me one.
and Zhao Yun might
Okay.
not be willing to part with
Zhao
them.
Yun
picked the
Mother,
biggest one
I'll
and
eat
gave
one
it to
less
the woman.
and give it to
Auntie,
Little Black,
the biggest
okay?
one.
It's
Zhao
packed a
Yun
lot.
smiled and said,
The woman
"Of course,
laughed and said,
I'll go get
little
one
girl,
now. You really know how
Little
to do
Black
business."
was sleeping in the kennel.
It's just a small
Dowda
business.
woke him up and said to him,
If you want
Little
to buy
Black,
a basket
it's
next
time
time,
to eat a
come
meat
here.
bun.
Little Black opened his
Okay,
eyes.
okay.
When he
The
saw
woman
Dowda,
took out
he
8
immediately
coins,
wagged
took
his
the
tail
basket with one
enthusiastically
hand,
and paid the money with
Come,
the other.
eat it.
Seeing
Dowda
that Zhao
broke off
Yun
a small
had sold
piece
the
and
basket
brought it
in
to
such
Little
a
Black's
short time,
mouth.
Mulan's eyes
Little
had a
Black
trace
stuck
of
out his
admiration
tongue
for
and
Zhao
swallowed
Yun.
it.
Dowda
Yunner,
continued to
aren't you
feed
too
him.
amazing?
Although Little
Huh,
Black
there
didn't
must
look
be a
big,
way to do
he still ate
business.
the entire bun.
Tell me.
After feeding
However,
Little Black,
this wasn't
the children
something that
couldn't
could be
stay
learned
at
in a
home
short
anymore.
time.
They
Zhao
ran out,
Yun
saying
still
that
had
they
to
were
teach
catching
step by
bullfrogs.
steps.
Zhao Yun
said
didn't
and
stop
stuffed
them
the
and
8
let them
copper
go.
coins into Mulan's hand.
If they could catch more,
we
she
have
would
to
go to
hurry
the
up
town
and sell
tomorrow
more.
to try it out.
All right.
After the children left,
Zhao Yun
continued to yell
was
with
about
all
to
her
send
might.
a steamer to Aunt Lu
In
when
a
Lu
short
Lei
period
came
of
over.
time, she sold another
This time,
4.
he came to deliver
He
wood
sold
to
2
Zhao
baskets
Yun.
for 10 copper coins
He
each.
prepared bundles of wood
This
and placed
time,
them in
Mulan
Zhao Yun
earned
52
yard.
copper coins.
He knew that Zhao Yun
Compared with
had a
Zhao
child
Yun
and was a
it was a
woman,
little less,
so it was
but
inconvenient
Mulan
for
was
her to get
satisfied.
wood.
After
Yun,
all, it was
I
not
saw
easy
that there
to
wasn't
earn
much
much
wood
wood
left outside your
house
in the village,
so I brought some for you.
All in
Lu
all,
Lei said,
excluding the cost,
thank you.
he had earned
Brother
3
Lei.
caddies of meat.
Zhao Yun
Yunner,
revealed a
my mother
sweet
said that
smile.
if we earn enough money,
You're welcome.
we can go and weigh a caddy of
Lu
meat.
Lei smiled foolishly.
Okay, then let's hurry
Leave
up and
the things
go.
here.
The two
If
of them
there's
came
nothing
to
else,
the meat shop.
I'll go back first.
Mulan bought a
Lu
caddy
Lei
of lean
looked
meat.
at Zhao Yun
In
reluctantly
ancient
and prepared
times,
to leave.
lean meat was much cheaper than
Wait,
fatty
Brother
meat.
Lei.
A caddy
Zhao
of lean
Yun
meat was
stopped
only
Lu Lei.
11 copper coins.
What's wrong?
Zhao Yunner
Lu
looked
Lei
and bought a
looked at
caddy
Zhao
of lean
Yunner
meat
with
with anticipation in his eyes. buns. He thought that Zhao Yuner had something to say. Brother Lei Zi, I steamed some buns. I'll bring you 2 to try. Lu Lei wanted to say no, but Zhao Yuner had already entered the kitchen and came out with 3 buns in her hands. "Come, Brother Lei, let's eat." The steamed bun in her hand was still hot and fragrant. Lu Lei held it in his hand but didn't eat it. Zhao Yuner hurriedly urged, "Brother Lei, why aren't you eating?" Hurry up and eat. Don't be shy. You've already sent me so much wood. What's wrong with eating 2 buns? Lu Lei smiled. All right then. Yuner, I'll eat. Thank you. You're welcome. Eat up. By the way, I'm going to town tomorrow. Is there anything you want me to bring? Brother Lei Z, you're going to town tomorrow too? Yes. I'm going too. Are you going to sell your game? Yes. When I went to the mountain today, I caught 2 wild hares and a deer. I should be able to sell them for a lot of money. Brother Lei Z, congratulations. I'm just supporting myself. I just want to save more money. I want to buy some land back. That's not bad. Lu Lei wanted to say that he was saving money to buy land for Zhao Yuner. If he had a few acres of land, he could give Zhao Yuner and Daodu a stable life. By the way, Brother Lei Z, do you usually sell your game to the restaurant? Yes. If I send it directly to the restaurant, the price will be higher. The restaurant will fight for fresh game. If I sell it to others, it will still be passed through the restaurant in the end. It's not worth it for me. Oh. Chapter 136. Lu Lei often dealt with the restaurant, so he was familiar with the people there. If she went to sell bullfrogs alone, she didn't know if she would be kicked out by the restaurant. Then, Brother Lei, can you take me with you when you go to the restaurant tomorrow? I also have something to sell. Of course, but what do you have to sell? It's not anything good. I might not be able to sell it now, but I'm just going to try. Okay. Lu Lei didn't ask further and went back. Zhao Yun returned Auntie Lu's steamer and gave Auntie Lu a few buns. When she returned home, the children came back with a small basket filled with 10 to 20 bullfrogs. Mother, can we eat bullfrogs again tonight? If you want to eat, Mother will make it for you. Unknowingly, Daodu had also become a little gluttonous cat. After Zhao Yun had dinner, she killed all the bullfrogs. She cleaned them and put them away, waiting for them to be sent to the town tomorrow. If the people in the restaurant saw the appearance of the bullfrogs, they would probably find someone to catch them themselves and wouldn't buy them from her. Zhao Yun hoped that selling bullfrogs would be a long-term process of making money, so that it could give her a guarantee for her life. After everything was done, Zhao Yun went to bed early. These days, Zhao Tianfu's food and drink were all with her, so he was too lazy to go back at night. He directly squeezed into a bed and slept with Zhao Yun. The 2 children slept soundly. Zhao Yun touched their sleeping faces and pulled the quilt over them. If she succeeded in making money this time, she should buy a quilt back. She couldn't continue to make do like this. Early the next morning, Zhao Yun got up and went to the city again. When she arrived at Old Man Hu's place, Lu Lei was already there, carrying a sack in his hand. Inside was the game to be sold today. Early in the morning, she saw Old Man Hu smoking a cigarette with obvious scars on his face. Zhao Yun asked, "Old Man Hu, what happened to your face? Did you accidentally fall?" Father Hu sighed and said, I didn't fall down. I was scratched by your grandmother." "My grandmother?" "Yeah, didn't we come back early yesterday? As soon as your grandmother came back, she rushed to my house to reason with me, saying that I shouldn't have thrown her down, causing her to spend 30 copper coins in a carriage to come back." Zhao Yun'er felt that Hu Chunhua was really weird. She was the one who didn't want to reason with Hu Chunhua, but in the end, she found someone else to reason with. However, it wasn't the first time that Hu Chunhua was unreasonable. After father who finished speaking, the women in the car who knew the truth of the matter yesterday all condemned old Madame Hua. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go, let's go. Old man who put down his pipe and chuckled. The ox cart started to move unsteadily. When Zhao Yun arrived in Sun City, she followed Lu Lei to one of the bigger restaurants in Sun City, Fulin Restaurant. The game that Lu Lei sold had been compared with several restaurants, and this restaurant gave the most honest price. For a long time, Lu Lei had been working with this restaurant. The waiters in the restaurant already recognized Lu Lei, so Zhao Yun, and Lu Lei successfully entered the backyard of the restaurant. The waiters inside were very busy, running back and forth. Chapter 137. Lu Lei smiled at the waiter of the restaurant and said, "It's okay, don't worry, I'll wait." Okay. Zhao Yun looked around, curious about what the kitchen of this ancient restaurant looked like. After looking around, she found that the kitchen of this ancient restaurant was really big. Many cooks were busy working in the front and back, and there were also manservants in the kitchen. In ancient times, there was no gas or natural gas, so they used wood to cook, so it was more troublesome. A burst of fragrance floated out from the backyard. Zhao Yun, and Lu Lei waited for about 20 minutes before the restaurant's shopkeeper came over. He was a man in his early 40s, dressed in black clothes, and his hair was neatly combed. Unlike other merchants, he did not have the air of a merchant. The shopkeeper, Sun Zhongquan, walked in front of Lu Lei and explained to him, "Today, an important guest came to the restaurant, so it was delayed." "Lu Lei, what did you send today?" "Let me see." Lu Lei took out his prey from the sack and said, "I just got it yesterday, it's still fresh." "I know, it's all alive, so it must be fresh." "Go and weigh it, then I'll give you the money." Sun Zhongquan did not talk much nonsense with Lu Lei. He was simple and direct, and did not waste each other's time. This was why Lu Lei liked to deal with Sun Zhongquan. "Okay." Lu Lei nodded. Lu Lei's prey was much more than before, and this time he sold it for more than 800 copper coins. Zhao Yun was a little envious, but at the same time, she was happy for Lu Lei. "Shopkeeper, then you continue with your work, I'll leave first." Lu Lei said goodbye. "Okay." "Wait." Zhao Yun suddenly said. Lu Lei and Sun Zhongquan both looked at Zhao Yun. Lu Lei knew that Zhao Yun came to the restaurant today to sell something, but he was in a hurry to leave, so he forgot. Sun Zhongquan asked, "Miss, what's the matter?" Zhao Yun put down the basket on her back, then took out the washed bullfrog meat and put it in front of Sun Zhongquan. "Shopkeeper, this is what I brought. Take a look and see if you accept it." Sun Zhongquan's attitude was not bad. He did not ignore Zhao Yun. "Little girl, what is this?" Sun Zhongquan didn't recognize the bullfrog meat made by Zhao Yun. He had been running the restaurant for many years and had seen many ingredients. "Shopkeeper, this is a bullfrog. I caught it from my family. It tastes pretty good." Although Zhao Yun said so, Sun Zhongquan did not have much interest. "Miss, I've never seen this thing before, so I don't know if it's edible. Besides, even if it's edible, my chef hasn't made it before, and my customers haven't eaten it before, so I might not be able to sell it. Usually, the restaurant sends a lot of ingredients over." Sun Zhongquan's meaning was obvious. He didn't want to accept it. In fact, it was understandable. The restaurant was not willing to take the risk of casually bringing something over. Sun Zhongquan was being polite. If it was someone else, she would have been kicked out of the restaurant. Chapter 138. "This, manager, why don't you let her try it? You won't lose out anyway," Lu Lei chimed in from the side. Sun Zhongquan thought for a moment and nodded. The competition in the restaurant business in Yang City was still quite fierce. If there were no fresh and special dishes that other restaurants didn't have, it would be difficult to attract customers. If Xiao Yun did well this time, it wouldn't hurt to use it. "Thank you, manager," Xiao Yun said with a smile. As long as she was given a chance, it would be easy. "Manager, let me borrow your kitchen for a while." "Okay." Sun Zhongquan led Xiao Yun into the kitchen. There were more pots in the kitchen, so he let Xiao Yun have one. Before cooking, Xiao Yun first washed the bullfrog and then drained the water. She poured some oil into the pot and after heating it up, she added star anise, chili, pepper, garlic, and ginger and stir-fried it until it was fragrant. Then, she added some cooking wine, soy sauce, salt, and sugar and stir-fried it until it was smooth. Then, she added a little water and continued to stir-fry it. After about 3 to 5 minutes, the broth had dried up, and a pot of boiled bullfrog was ready to be served. The fragrant smell immediately attracted the attention of the surrounding people. "What is this? Why is it so fragrant? Yeah, it smells so good. I've never seen it before. We don't know. Where did this little girl get it? I don't know. Anyway, smelling this fragrance, it should taste good." Sun Zhongquan looked at Xiao Yun, who was cooking very neatly. Her cooking skills were not inferior to the chefs in the restaurant. He couldn't help but take a few more glances at Xiao Yun. This girl's cooking skills seemed to be good. Xiao Yun scooped up the cooked bullfrog, filling 2 plates. The other chefs in the restaurant couldn't help but come over, wanting to taste the bullfrog. "Come, manager, try it," Xiao Yun said and handed over the chopsticks. Sun Zhongquan nodded. "All right." After picking up a piece and putting it into his mouth, Sun Zhongquan's eyes widened at the delicious taste, tender meat and aroma of the bullfrog. "This taste is really good, delicious, delicious." Sun Zhongquan praised as he spoke. "Manager, can we try it?" The other chefs were also eager to give it a try. "Come on, have a taste. Don't blame me for saying that there aren't many dishes in our restaurant that can compare with this." Chef, who was originally unconvinced, also repeatedly praised it after tasting it. The smell was right there, and it was impossible not to be convinced. "Shopkeeper, what do you think? Do you think I can buy it?" Sun Zhongquan pondered for a while and still had some concerns. "But what if the food we tried is delicious and the customers don't know about it and don't want to order it? How about this, shopkeeper? I'll send you the ingredients for the next few days. You can give them to the customers for free. After a few days, you can check the situation and decide to buy from me. Then, we can talk about the price, okay?" This method didn't have any losses for Sun Zhongquan. Even if he wanted to refuse, he couldn't find a way to do so. That was good too. The customers wouldn't refuse to give it away for free. If they liked it, they would definitely order it. "All right then. Little girl, you really know how to do business. Huh. It's my honor that manager is willing to give me this opportunity." Chapter 139. After the two of them reached an agreement, Xiao Yun told them about Bullfrog's method and taught it to a few chefs. However, they agreed that when Sun Zhongquan sold bullfrogs, he could only purchase them from her place. "Manager, these are just 2 bullfrog recipes. When we officially cooperate, I'll tell you some other recipes." "All right." Sun Zhongquan replied. When Xiao Yun was about to leave, a waiter hurriedly ran to Sun Zhongquan and said, "Manager, young Master Helian said that the dishes in our restaurant are too bad and asked us to serve a few more dishes. He's treating people to a meal today, and our restaurant's dishes are not good enough to serve guests." Sun Zhongquan frowned and looked very troubled. This young Master Helian was not someone he could offend casually. It was not easy for him to come here, so he had to seize the opportunity. He would be a big financial backer in the future. Then make a few more dishes. Sun Zhongquan instructed the chefs to cook quickly until this financial backer was satisfied. Manager, didn't this young lady just make one? I think the taste is not bad. I think young Master Helian will like it. If it doesn't work, can we serve it to young Master Helian first? Let's hurry up and make more. We can't let young Master Helian wait too long, a chef suggested. Yes, yes, yes. Hurry up and bring it over. Sun Zhongquan called out. When Zhao Yun heard these people mention young Master Helian, she guessed if it was Helian Chen. There were not many people with the surname Helian in Yang City. Looking at Sun Zhongquan's attitude, this young Master Helian's identity was definitely not ordinary. Connecting all these factors, only Helian Chen was left. All right. The waiter carried the dishes away eagerly. After a while, he scurried back and said to Sun Zhongquan, "Manager, young Master Helian said it was delicious after tasting it. He said he wants another bowl." "Huh, that's good." Sun Zhongquan heaved a sigh of relief. Sun Zhongquan smiled and called out to his chef to make more dishes according to Zhao Yun's previous recipe. The waiter continued, "Shopkeeper, young Master Helian also said that he doesn't know what kind of meat this is and has never eaten it before. He wants the chef who makes this dish here to go over and explain." Sun Zhongquan was struck dumb for a second. He had only heard from Zhao Yun'er that it was a bullfrog, but he didn't know what kind of meat it was. He didn't dare to answer Helian Chen's question and only said that it was bullfrog meat. If Helian Chen continued to ask and he couldn't answer, Helian Chen might get angry. Therefore, Zhao Yun'er still had to go over and explain to Helian Chen. "Miss, if you're not in a hurry to go back, is it convenient for you to explain to my guest?" Sun Zhongquan's attitude was very polite. Zhao Yun'er could not refuse. She was the one who had sold this thing, so she had to explain it clearly. Thus, he replied, "Yes, shopkeeper." Sun Zhongquan asked the waiter to bring Zhao Yun'er to the private room. Zhao Yun'er arrived in front of the private room. When she pushed the door open and entered, the person inside was indeed Helian Chen. And sitting beside Helian Chen was Mu Lianfeng. The moment she saw Mu Lianfeng, Zhao Yun'er was slightly stunned. She didn't expect to see him again, and in such a short period of time. However, Mu Lianfeng's expression didn't look very good. The moment Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yun'er, his eyes lit up, and his originally gloomy expression finally looked much better. Chapter 140. That woman's appearance was not bad. She looked like she was 16 or 17 years old. She was dressed in peach-colored clothes and was very gorgeous and pretty. There was a golden hairpin on her head and tassels hanging down from her forehead. She was really a lovely and beautiful lady. Zhao Yun'er felt that even if she were a woman, she would be attracted to her. This ancient era did not seem like the 21st century. There was not much makeup on her face, so she still had a very pure feeling. Helian Chen looked up and saw Zhao Yun'er. He hurriedly greeted Zhao Yun'er with a smile. "Miss Yun'er, why are you here?" Zhao Yun'er smiled and nodded at Helian Chen as a greeting. She pointed at the bullfrog on the table and said to Helian Chen, "Young Master Helian, didn't you say yourself that you wanted to know what this is?" Helian Chen glanced at the bullfrog and was stunned. Then, he smiled and said, "Miss Yun'er, did you make this?" I was wondering why it was so delicious." "Your culinary skills are naturally needless to say. But why did you come to Fulin restaurant to cook? Could it be that you became a chef here?" Zhao Yun'er smiled and shook her head. Her culinary skills were all right and could make people feel that the taste was not bad. However, compared to these professional chefs, there were still many shortcomings. "Then why?" Helian Chen asked curiously. "Why do you have so many whys?" Mu Lianfeng scolded Helian Chen unhappily. Helian Chen looked at Mu Lianfeng. Ah Feng, why are you pretending? Am I not helping you to ask? Don't tell me you don't want to know. Mu Lianfeng's mouth twitched, but he did not refute. Mu Lianfeng's reaction made the woman sitting at the side a little unhappy. Her gaze could not help but fall on Zhao Yun, with a trace of hostility in her eyes. Cousin, who is she? Murong Shuang asked. Her cousin usually didn't care about any woman, even to her, he had a cold and indifferent attitude, but to Zhao Yun, it was a little different. Mu Lianfeng glared at Helian Chen. This fellow must have said this in front of his cousin on purpose. Helian Chen looked at Mu Lianfeng gloatingly. Mu Lianfeng touched his forehead and said, not anyone, just a friend of mine. Murong Shuang remained skeptical. Friends? Cousin, she's just a country bumpkin. How can you be friends with someone like her? Murong Shuang looked at Zhao Yun, with a hint of disgust in her eyes. Zhao Yun, frowned when she heard Murong Shuang's words. What kind of words were these? Just because their statuses were different and the difference was too great, they couldn't be friends with others? The corners of her mouth curled up with a sarcastic smile. Perhaps what Murong Shuang said was the most normal thing in the eyes of the people of this era? In the eyes of others, she and Mu Lianfeng were not even fit to be friends, let alone be together. Mu Lianfeng's mouth twitched, and he looked at Zhao Yun, worriedly, afraid that Zhao Yun would be angry. What he saw was Zhao Yun's calm face. Cousin, do you still want to care who I'm friends with? Mu Lianfeng replied indifferently, but Murong Shuang knew that Mu Lianfeng was angry. Cousin, Gu Ning said. Chapter 141. How dare she seduce her cousin's woman? She would never let her go. The reason why she didn't speak now was because she didn't want Mu Lianfeng to be angry. Anyway, some things could be done behind the scenes. There was no need to make Mu Lianfeng unhappy. Sister Shuang, Miss Yun, is very good. It's okay to be friends. She's also my friend. Helian Chen also chimed in. Zhao Yun, felt the hostility from Murong Shuang. She guessed that Murong Shuang must like Mu Lianfeng, which was why she treated her like this. There was an indescribable feeling in her heart. It was a little bitter. Zhao Yun couldn't force a smile. She changed the topic and pointed at the bullfrog on the table to explain to Helian Chen, this dish is made with bullfrog. You probably haven't eaten it before. That's why you think it's delicious. What's a bullfrog? It's something that looks a little like a toad. When Zhao Yun finished speaking, the people in the private room immediately felt their stomachs churn. They were so disgusted that they were about to vomit. Because it was Murong Shuang's first time tasting that kind of delicious taste, she also ate a lot just now. After Zhao Yun finished speaking, she retched and slapped the table. Then she stood up and pointed at Zhao Yun, and reprimanded, you bitch, you actually let me eat this. Do you want to die? How can you even serve such a disgusting thing? Let's see if you'll be punished later. After Murong Shuang finished speaking, she pulled Mu Lianfeng's hand and said, cousin, look at her. Just thinking about it makes me sick. She actually let us eat this kind of thing. Mu Lianfeng endured the discomfort in his chest. In fact, he was also disgusted. Helian Chen simply retched under the table. Zhao Yun frowned even deeper. Weren't these people's reactions a little too exaggerated? If she had known, she wouldn't have mentioned the toad. Cough cough. After Helian Chen coughed heavily a few times, he said to Zhao Yun, Miss Yun, how can this toad be eaten? I only said it looks like a toad. It's not a toad. Bullfrogs can be eaten. You've also tasted it. It's delicious and its meat is very tender. Other meat can't compare to it. It's really not a toad? Helian Chen still asked with uncertainty. No. If it is, you should be poisoned now. Aren't you fine now? He Lianchen thought about it and agreed. He didn't feel any discomfort after eating it. He let out a long sigh of relief. It's good that it's not. Miss Yun, you really scared me to death. If it's a toad, I reckon that I won't be able to eat for a few days. Don't worry. Not everything can be placed on the table. I know that. But because bullfrogs look a little similar to toads, no one eats them now. That's why they don't know the taste of bullfrogs. Miss Yun, if you say so, then it's this young master's honor? Zhao Yun said with a smile, I didn't expect young Master Helian to eat it on the first day I sent it to the restaurant. It's fate, right? Helian nodded and said, yes. It means that this young master should eat it. This young master has also tasted many delicacies. This is the first time I've eaten this. Chapter 142. Zhao Yun was very uncomfortable with Murong Shuang holding on to her and not letting go. She had really offended someone for no reason at all. Then how do you want to punish me? Zhao Yun replied. What kind of attitude is this? Shouldn't a country bumpkin be polite to me when you see me? If you want to admit your mistake, you should be more humble. Zhao Yun only felt that it was funny. How did she know that she was going to admit her mistake? However, when she heard Murong Shuang call herself a princess, she understood why Murong Shuang was so arrogant. Wasn't it because of her identity? Princess, I didn't do anything wrong. This thing is not poisonous and can still be eaten. It tastes good and is a normal dish. I'm sure you'll be happy eating it. Why are you blaming me now? Zhao Yun couldn't help but reply. You talk to me like this. Even if you don't say disgusting things, I can punish you for your crime. Zhao Yun smiled slightly. Princess, if you use your connections, you can punish me for my crime. However, according to the laws of the Zhou country, there shouldn't be any crime that can punish me for, right? In order to understand more about the world she had transmigrated to, Zhao Yun had also studied the laws here before. She knew that what Murong Shuang did was not punishable, so she was not disrespectful to Murong Shuang. Of course, Zhao Yun's words were for Murong Shuang to hear. If this woman really punished her, then she would be instigating an official to bend the law for personal gain. The Zhou country had a related crime for instigating an official to bend the law for personal gain. Even if Murong Shuang was a princess, she could not escape the punishment of the law. You. Murong Shuang actually didn't know what to say for a moment. Helian Chen and Murong Feng both glanced at Zhao Yun. They didn't expect Zhao Yun to be so good at talking. She could actually make Murong Shuang speechless. Usually, Murong Shuang was extremely arrogant. She had always been the one to talk to others, and no one had ever talked to her. Zhao Yun stood straight. She didn't do anything wrong. What was there to be afraid of? Alright, cousin, don't be so unforgiving. You just ate and said it was delicious. Isn't it a little inappropriate to blame others now? Since you find it disgusting, why don't you stop eating it next time? Cousin, seeing how Mu Lianfeng was so protective of Zhao Yun, Murong Shuang stomped her feet in anger. She wanted to say something, but when she met Mu Lianfeng's cold eyes, she lowered her head. Zhao Yun did not want to stay here any longer. She said to Mu Lianfeng and Helian Chen, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. The ox cart back to the village will be leaving soon. Helian Chen and Mu Lianfeng did not know what to say. Mu Lianfeng also knew that it was useless for Zhao Yun to stay here any longer. It would only make Murong Shuang more hostile. Alright, Miss Yun. Be careful on the road. Okay. Zhao Yun turned and left the private room. After bidding farewell to Sun Zhongquan, she left Fulin restaurant with Lu Lei. Upstairs, Mu Lianfeng happened to open the window to get some fresh air. When he looked down, he saw Zhao Yuner and Lu Lei walking side by side. The two of them were talking and laughing together. Looking at the sweet smile on Zhao Yuner's face, Mu Lianfeng did not know why he felt uncomfortable in his heart. Chapter 143. Zhao Yun, and Lu Lei hadn't eaten breakfast yet. It was still early, only around 8 or 9 o'clock. Father Hu's carriage wouldn't leave until around 10 o'clock, so they still had a lot of time. There were many breakfast shops in town. Lu Lei took Zhao Yun, to a noodle stall and sat down. He said to Zhao Yun, the noodles in this noodle shop taste good. I used to come here often to eat. The most important thing is that it's affordable and the quantity is large. I can eat my fill every time I eat here. Zhao Yun, smiled. She didn't care where they ate. Since Lu Lei wanted to eat here, then so be it. There were a few tables and chairs in the stall. The people who came to eat the noodles sat at the table. A fragrant smell wafted into Zhao Yun's nose. Zhao Yun took a deep breath. It was so fragrant. The people at the table seemed to be eating very happily. They held the bowls and ate, making waves of noises. Lu Lei and Zhao Yun found an empty seat and sat down. Lu Lei smiled at Zhao Yun, and said, Yun, I made a lot of money today. I'll treat you to this meal. Lu Dalai, there's no need for that. I appreciate your kindness. Yun, you don't have to be polite with me. I've never treated you to a meal. This is the first time. Zhao Yun thought about it and agreed. She said to Lu Lei, Brother Lei, okay, you treat me to a meal. But let's make a deal. When I make money later, I'll treat you to a meal too. Lu Lei agreed in one breath. Okay, Yun, I'll treat you this time. When you make money later, you can treat me again. The two of them reached an agreement, and a smile appeared on Lu Lei's face. After a while, the stall owner came up to greet them with a smile. Hello, two guests. What would you like to eat? I want a bowl of plain noodles. Zhao Yun said. She didn't want to eat too well, as it would cost Lu Lei more money. Zhao Yun still wanted to save as much as possible. After all, it wasn't easy for Lu Lei to earn money, and he risked his life to bring back these praise. Lu Lei hurriedly said to the stall owner, no plain noodles. Give her a bowl of beef noodles. All right. The stall owner replied with a smile. Zhao Yuner looked at Lu Lei. Lu Lei explained, Yuner, what's so good about noodles? Why don't you cook them at home? His beef noodles are very fragrant and delicious. But it's also expensive. Zhao Yuner was distressed about the money. In ancient times, beef was twice as expensive as pork. After all, in ancient times, cows were used for farming. Under normal circumstances, cows were rarely killed for food. Of course, in the 21st century, beef was much more expensive than pork. It's okay, Yuner. Try it. It's delicious. Anyway, it's not often. It's not easy to treat you to a meal. You don't have to be so polite. Are you eating it? If you don't eat it, I'll feel bad if I eat it alone. Lu Lei gritted his teeth. Okay, I'll eat it too. Yuner, let's each have a bowl. Okay. Therefore, Zhao Yuner and Lu Lei ordered 2 bowls of beef noodles together. About 10 minutes later, the noodles were served. A stronger beef aroma made Zhao Yuner salivate. She admitted that she was also greedy. She hadn't tasted beef for a long time. In her previous life, beef was her favorite. Chapter 144. The bottom of the big bowl was full of noodles, and the top was a layer of beef. The beef was stir-fried with chili. When it was poured into the bowl, even the originally light soup had a spicy taste. Zhao Yun liked spicy food, so the beef noodles were the most suitable for her taste. Zhao Yun, and Lu Lei looked at each other and began to eat. Lu Lei usually didn't eat anything good, so a bowl of beef noodles was very precious to him. Men who worked ate fast, so in less than 5 minutes, Lu Lei had already swallowed the noodles. After Lu Lei finished eating, he wiped his mouth with his sleeve. It was very casual. The people in the countryside were not so particular, so they were basically casual. Zhao Yun looked at the half bowl of noodles left in her bowl and said with a smile, "Brother Lei, you ate so fast. Are you full? I still have some here. Do you want some?" After Zhao Yun finished speaking, Lu Lei hurriedly waved his hand and said, "No, Yun, you can eat by yourself. I'm full." "Really?" "Of course. How can I not be full with such a big bowl?" Zhao Yun nodded and said with a smile, "Okay then, Brother Lei, I'll eat." "Eat, Yun, You're too thin. You should eat more. It's not good for girls to be too thin. It'll hurt when I carry you like that." Cough, cough. Zhao Yun coughed violently a few times. Some chili was stuck in her throat, and there was some burning pain. "Yun, what's wrong?" Lu Lei asked, looking at Zhao Yun with concern. "I'm fine." Zhao Yun continued to cough. She was just shocked by Lu Lei's words and accidentally choked herself. This guy, could it be that he knew how to hold a thin woman before? "Come, drink some water." Lu Lei picked up a bowl of water and gave it to Zhao Yun. After Zhao Yun gulped down 2 mouthfuls of cold water, her throat immediately felt better. "Yun, eat slowly. Don't rush." "All right." Zhao Yun lowered her head and continued eating. After the two of them finished eating, Lu Lei bought some ingredients, rice, oil, and salt. The two of them then returned to Papa Hu's ox cart. The woman who went to the town today couldn't help but complain, "Sigh, business is getting worse and worse these days. After selling for so long, my throat is sore. I wonder how much money I can sell. What can we do? What we're selling isn't anything good. Everyone has it. It's not easy to earn money. I can't live anymore." "Don't say that, take your time. Which family has it easy?" When the women were sighing, they saw Zhao Yun and Lu Lei coming over. The two of them were talking and laughing. They must have made a lot of money. Thus, she asked sarcastically, "Yun girl, you made a lot of money this time, right?" As she spoke, the woman stretched her head towards Zhao Yun's basket. "The things are all gone. That means they're sold out." Zhao Yun was very disgusted by other people's behavior. She didn't want to bother with that woman. Perhaps it was because the business today wasn't very good and she thought that Zhao Yun had made money, so she was in a bad mood. She said angrily to Zhao Yun, "What's with your attitude, girl? I'm asking you a question. You're mute and not talking. What does it have to do with you whether I make money or not? Who are you to me? Do I have to talk to you? You. Chapter 145. Zhao Yun replied indifferently. She just couldn't understand why some people liked to cause trouble for no reason. She didn't say anything. How did she provoke others? Of course, Zhao Yun didn't know that others were just jealous of her. Damn girl, you people from old Zhao's family are really the same. You're just like that old woman Hua. The woman Zhao Yun didn't know what to say. She could only start to scold Zhao Yun in desperation. I am me. Don't put me together with anyone. Zhao Yun warned her. Her eyes were a little cold, which frightened the woman. Oh, if you don't want to say it, then don't say it. But it's useless no matter how much money you make. Anyway, you can't buy land or the foundation to build a house. You'll give it to old Zhao's family later. Why are you so arrogant in front of me? The woman continued to speak unwillingly. After speaking, she turned her head away. Zhao Yun was angry at the woman's inexplicable words, but she suddenly caught the message in the woman's words. What she said wasn't wrong. The Great Zhou country's laws also stated that purchasing land and foundations required a household register. It was just like buying and selling real estate at the age of 21. One had to register their identity. In ancient times, the household registration was managed by special people in the county government. If one bought land, they had to register it again. However, Zhao Yun, and Daodu were only driven out by old Zhao's family. They didn't leave old Zhao's household registration. If she wanted to buy land, she could first go through old Zhao's family. Second, she could set up her own household and buy it herself. Of course, old Zhao's family had to agree to the separation, and Li Zheng had to nod his head. Then, she could go to the county government to file the record. Thinking of this, Zhao Yun frowned. She felt that it was very troublesome. She had to separate before she had a good life. Otherwise, when she had money in the future, she couldn't do these things. She would be targeted by old Zhao's family. Zhao Yun thought about it for a while, and there was another way. That was when the old Zhao family would split up. When the time came, they would automatically split up. Therefore, when she went back, she could work with her parents to separate the three branches. When Lu Lei saw that Zhao Yun was deep in thought and didn't speak, he thought that Zhao Yun was angry with that woman. He comforted her, "Yun, don't worry about what others say. You'll only make yourself angry." Zhao Yun smiled. "I know, brother Lei Zi. I understand what you're saying. It's like a dog biting me. I can't bite it back." Lu Lei was amused by Zhao Yun. How come he didn't know that Zhao Yun had such an unforgiving side? However, he liked it very much. "Who are you calling a dog?" The woman who had just quarreled with Zhao Yun jumped out angrily again. Zhao Yun faintly retorted, "Did I say it was you? Why are you in such a hurry to jump out and admit it? You little b*tch, I really have to teach you a lesson." Old father who saw that a fight was about to break out again, so he quickly knocked on the tobacco pipe. Okay, stop quarreling. Let's go back to the village. If you're still quarreling, get off the carriage." The woman obediently shut her mouth. Zhao Yun naturally couldn't be bothered to make a move. If she really made a move, she would be able to beat a big man like her, let alone a woman. It was a matter that could be solved in minutes. The carriage slowly arrived at Shui Lan village. On the way, Zhao Yun was thinking about how to instigate Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao to split up. Chapter 146. When Zhao Yun returned to Shui Lan village, Daodu and Zhao Tianfu were both at home. They didn't run around. When little He saw that Zhao Yun had returned, he barked a few times at Zhao Yun. However, it was the kind of bark that warmly welcomed its owner back. "Mother." Daodu trotted over. Zhao Yun patted Daodu's head. "Are you hungry? Mother will cook for you." Daodu nodded heavily. "Okay. Mother, look, little uncle and I caught a lot of bullfrogs and put them in the bucket." Zhao Yun patted Daodu's head encouragingly. "Daodu and little uncle are awesome." Then, did mother sell any bullfrogs today?" "Of course, I'll sell more in the future. When the time comes, mother will be able to earn a lot of money and buy a lot of delicious food for Daodu." "Okay." Daodu seemed to be very happy. Catching bullfrogs not only could make money, but it was also fun. Therefore, Daodu was even more excited. At noon, Zhao Yun steamed the buns from yesterday and fried 2 side dishes. It was quite satisfying. After lunch, Zhao Yun asked Dao to look after the house while she secretly stuffed a few buns into her sleeve. She was going to give them to Liang Jinxiao later and discuss the separation of the family. Yesterday, she didn't give any buns to her parents. She knew that old Zhao's family would probably keep an eye on Zhao Tianfu if they caught Zhao Tianfu delivering the buns once. If she let Zhao Tianfu take the things back, he would be easily discovered. When Zhao Tianfu was discovered again, many of the good things that the third branch didn't expect would be eaten by others. When Zhao Yun arrived at old Zhao's house was still very lively. In ancient times, most of the people were from big families. Each family had dozens of members, especially those that had not been separated. Zhao Yun was very familiar with this place from the memories of the original owner. After all, she had lived here since she was young. Old Zhao's house was a common adobe house in the countryside. The house was built decades ago when Zhao Baoshan and Hu Chunhua had just gotten married. The house faced south, with 3 rooms in each direction. The first branch and his wife shared a room, while the eldest cousin and his wife shared a room. The second branch, third branch, and fourth branch were all in the 3 rooms on the west side. Zhao Xinhui's room in the north was next to Hu Chunhua's room. The room in the east was used as the kitchen, and the remaining room in the north was used as a storeroom. Therefore, although there were many rooms in old Zhao's house, it was still a little crowded with so many people living together. Basically, one family lived in one room. Old Zhao's yard was also surrounded by a fence. There were 2 jujube trees in the yard. They were very tall and had been there for more than 10 or 20 years. Usually, they would stay under the trees to enjoy the cool air. When the jujubes ripened, they could be harvested. The jujubes could be sold for 1 copper coin per kilogram in town. Therefore, old Zhao's family treasured them and was unwilling to cut them down. When they saw Zhao Yun come over, old Zhao's family members all looked at Zhao Yun I really saw a ghost. Why did this girl come over? Li Chuiying put down the things in his hands and looked curiously at Zhao Yun Father, mother, come over and take a look. Yun is back. Li Chuiying greeted. Zhao Yun's mouth twitched. This Li Chuiying spoke in a strange tone, as if he was trying to stir up trouble. There were many people in the yard. Some were playing, and some were working. Zhao Yun saw that her mother was washing things. Chapter 147. When he looked up, he indeed saw Zhao Yun Liang Jinxiao was puzzled in her heart. Her daughter had not stepped into this courtyard for 3 years. Why did she come here today? Because the original owner was ruthlessly driven out of old Zhao's house, there was some resentment in her heart. In addition, she felt that she had no face to return to old Zhao's house after such a thing happened to her, so she never came back. The current Zhao Yun was not the original owner. She did not agree with some of the ideas of the original owner. It was the whole family that was ruthless. Why couldn't she come back? As soon as she arrived in the courtyard, Zhao Tianyu, who was playing in the courtyard, saw Zhao Yun coming over. He immediately picked up a stone on the ground and threw it at Zhao Yun Zhao Yun barely dodged it. A pair of sharp eyes looked at Zhao Tianyu. This brat, did he have any manners? He threw a stone at people. She really wanted to slap him. Since his parents did not discipline him well, she would help to discipline him well. Zhao Tianyu was not afraid of Zhao Yun's eyes at all. He stuck out his tongue at Zhao Yun He continued to pick up stones on the ground and threw them at Zhao Yun Zhao Tianyu acted like this because he was in old Zhao's house, which was his own house. His parents were behind him. Even if he threw stones at Zhao Yun would not dare to do anything to him. Li Chuiying not only felt that Zhao Tianyu did not do anything wrong, but also felt very proud of Zhao Tianyu's rude behavior. His son was great. He taught Zhao Yun, this little b****, a lesson. Throwing it out once was fine, but throwing it out a second time, no matter how good Zhao Yun's temper was, she couldn't bear it anymore. Not to mention that he was a child. She could not lower herself to the same level as a child. Some brats would be more unscrupulous if they were not taught a lesson. So Zhao Yun walked in front of Zhao Tianyu and grabbed his collar. "You try to hit me again." Zhao Tianyu suddenly struggled in Zhao Yun's hands. Zhao Tianyu was still a little scared when Zhao Yun grabbed his collar. "Let go of me. Let go of you. You almost hit me. If I didn't dodge in time, wouldn't I be hurt by you? Wouldn't it be too easy to let you go?" As Zhao Yun spoke, she slapped Zhao Tianyu's butt. "This slap is to tell you that since you did something wrong, you should be punished." As she spoke, Zhao Yun slapped him and continued to say to Zhao Tianyu, "This slap is because you know your mistake and don't change it. You don't have any remorse." The strength of Zhao Yun's hand was very strong. She hit Zhao Tianyu's buttocks and did not hurt him too much. Zhao Tianyu cried out, "Mother, mother!" Li Chuiying angrily rushed in front of Zhao Yun. "You wicked girl, you hit my Tianyu again. How dare you hit my precious son here?" Zhao Yun saw Li Chuiying rushing over and threw Zhao Tianyu into Li Chuiying's arms. A cold voice sounded. "You were watching just now. Don't you know? Your son threw stones at me again and again. Since you don't discipline him, I have to deal with him myself." Chapter 148. Huh, she's not young anymore. She's so old. Can't she tell right from wrong? She's already 6 years old. How can she not know the consequences of throwing a rock at someone? If she really doesn't know, then I can only say that you didn't teach her well. My Daodu already knows when he's 3 years old. Zhao Yun said sarcastically. Zhao Yun's words made Li Chuiying even more arrogant. This wretched girl was too much. "Zhao Yun, you're really something. Not only did you have the nerve to come back, but you also dared to hit my Tianyu. Don't go. Just wait for me." Li Chuiying shouted. She didn't dare to fight with Zhao Yun because Li Chuiying knew that she couldn't beat Zhao Yun. Later, she would call her man over and teach Zhao Yun a lesson. "I wasn't planning to leave now. I'm looking for my mother." Zhao Yun replied indifferently. Zhao Yun said and turned to Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao put down the things in her hands and sighed. Zhao Yun hit Zhao Tianyu. Li Chuiying would probably turn the world upside down later. However, she didn't object to Zhao Yun's actions. Zhao Tianyu was too naughty. If such a big rock hit his head, he would definitely bleed. "Yun, why are you here?" Liang Jinxiao asked. She knew that Zhao Yun must have something to do. Otherwise, she wouldn't come over. "Mother, let's go into your room and talk." "Okay." Liang Jinxiao nodded. Just as the mother and daughter were about to enter the room, Li Chuiying's attention turned to Liang Jinxiao. "Third sister-in-law, stop right there." Liang Jinxiao shouted at Li Chuiying. Liang Jinxiao was a soft-hearted person. Since he couldn't argue with Zhao Yun, he could ask Liang Jinxiao for an explanation. "Second sister-in-law, what's wrong?" Liang Jinxiao asked. "What's wrong? What do you think is wrong? Your daughter hit my son and you're not going to do anything about it?" Liang Jinxiao lowered his head and didn't know what to say. "What are you talking about? This wretched girl of yours is going to turn the sky upside down, and you still don't care? Did you teach your daughter any manners?" Zhao Yun couldn't stand it anymore. Li Chuiying only picked on the weak. "Second aunt, what are you talking about? No one is worse than Tianyu in terms of manners. You'd better teach your son well before you talk about my mother. Zhao Yun'er said and pulled Liang Jinxiao to signal Liang Jinxiao to ignore Li Chuiying. Then she pulled Liang Jinxiao into the room of the third branch. Li Chuiying was so angry that she stomped her feet. Good, very good, very good. She now knew that Zhao Yun'er wasn't the little girl she used to be. She shouted at her room angrily, Jing'er, come out right now and go to find your father in the field. Zhao Jing'er came out of the room and answered Li Chuiying. Okay, mother, I'll go right now. Zhao Jing'er was Li Chuiying's eldest daughter. She was only 16 years old this year. She wasn't ugly, but wasn't good-looking either. She was quite obedient. Hearing Li Chuiying's order, she immediately ran to the field to call Zhao Wenshui back. Mother, it hurts. Zhao Tianyu pouted and cried. Chapter 149. Zhao Tianyu nodded unhappily. He could only wait for his father to come back. Zhao Yun'er and Liang Jinxiao entered the room. Zhao Ping'er was sitting on the bed and scratching her feet. She kept rubbing her hands against her feet. Zhao Yun'er saw Zhao Ping'er rubbing her feet as soon as she came in. She immediately felt disgusted and her stomach churned. This woman was really disgusting and dirty. She was such a big girl, but she still didn't know how to be hygienic. Liang Jinxiao seemed like a good person, but how did his daughter become like this? She was a completely different person from the original owner. Zhao Ping'er saw Zhao Yun'er come in. She glanced at Zhao Yun'er indifferently and said with some disdain, "Why are you here? You still have the face to come back. I really admire you." Liang Jinxiao glared at Zhao Ping'er and motioned for Zhao Ping'er to not say that. After all, they were biological sisters. How could she speak like that? Zhao Ping'er rolled her eyes at Zhao Yun'er very unhappily. She really didn't know what was so good about Zhao Yun'er. She clearly did the ugly thing of getting pregnant before marriage, but in the end, Liang Jinxiao still sided with Zhao Yun'er. Liang Jinxiao first asked Zhao Yun'er to sit down and said to Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, you came here today for something, right? Is there something that you need mother's help with?" Zhao Yun shook her head, "No, mother. There's nothing that I need help with." Zhao Yun said and first took out the buns that she brought over. "Mother, I made some meat buns and sent a few over today. They're still warm." As soon as Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, Zhao Ping'er immediately came over. Before Zhao Yun could give it to Liang Jinxiao, she snatched one with each hand. "Meat buns, I want to eat, I want to eat." Zhao Ping'er's eyes lit up. When she heard this, her mouth watered. She wanted to take a bite of the bun. Zhao Yun was once again disgusted. Under normal circumstances, Zhao Yun would probably snatch the bun back. She didn't take the initiative to give it to others. What she hated the most was shameless people snatching things from her. But Zhao Ping'er's hand grabbed the bun. She didn't want it anymore. Zhao Ping'er. Zhao Yun'er, are you disgusting or not? You're just scratching your feet. Why are you grabbing a meat bun to eat now? Facing Zhao Yun'er's criticism, Zhao Ping'er didn't care at all. It's none of your business. You're not clean. You won't get sick after eating it. Haven't you heard of it? I'm just a country bumpkin. I'm not a lady from a rich family. Why are you so particular about it? After Zhao Ping'er finished speaking, she didn't care what Zhao Yun said and began to eat shamelessly. Zhao Ping'er didn't know what to say about Zhao Yun'er's rebuttal. Especially seeing Zhao Ping'er swallow the bun quickly, Zhao Yun'er felt nauseous. Just thinking about it made her want to throw up. Forget it. Since she had already eaten it, she would just eat it. It was Zhao Ping'er who did such a disgusting thing, not her. Liang Jinxiao sighed. Ping, girls should be more hygienic. Next time when you scratch your feet and grab something to eat, wash your hands first. Mom, why did you say the same thing as Zhao Yun? You didn't care about it before. She said it, but you said it to me. Zhao Ping complained. It was obvious that she was accusing Liang Jinxiao of being biased. He shouldn't have said it to her. Chapter 150. All right, mother, I know. You're so long-winded. Sigh, Zhao Pinger stared at Zhao Yuner and said, do you have any more steamed buns? I'm not full yet. I want more. Zhao Yuner snorted and said, you've already eaten 2 steamed buns. Isn't that enough? Give the rest to me. Zhao Yuner said and stuffed the remaining 2 steamed buns into Liang Jinxiao's hands, and signaled Liang Jinxiao to eat them quickly. Liang Jinxiao looked at the steamed buns that were still a little warm and nodded. I'll eat one. How about giving the other one to Pinger? Mother, she has eaten 2 steamed buns. If you can't finish them, why don't you give the other one to father? Zhao Yuner meant that she didn't agree to give the steamed buns to Zhao Pinger. You're so stingy. You won't even give me one more. Zhao Pinger complained. I'm stingy? Since you're so generous, why don't you make one for me? Don't you know that steamed buns are also considered good food in our countryside? Zhao Yuner retorted unhappily. It was easy for her to say that. Zhao Pinger was speechless by Zhao Yuner's words. She rolled her eyes at Zhao Yuner. I don't want to talk to you. After saying that, Zhao Pinger wiped her mouth and continued to scratch her feet. Zhao Yuner really couldn't stand such a woman who didn't pay attention to hygiene. Liang Jinxiao finished eating and said to Zhao Yuner, Yuner, you didn't come here today just to give me food, right? Zhao Yuner twitched the corner of her mouth and nodded. Yes, mother, I'm here to discuss something with you. What's the matter? Mother, I want to ask, can you and father be separated from old Zhao's family, and we, the third branch, can live alone? What? Liang Jinxiao was slightly shocked. She didn't even dare to think about it. In the past, he did have the idea of splitting up, but this idea was extinguished by Hua Chunhua. Hua Chunhua meant that as long as the old couple was alive, the sons should not talk about splitting up. Naturally, if they didn't split from the family, everything in the family would be in the hands of Hua Chunhua. Not to mention other things, the money was in the hands of Hua Chunhua. Everyone in the family had their own private savings. If anyone proposed to split from the family, Hua Chunhua would definitely take desperate measures and scold the person who proposed it. Mother, why don't we separate from the third branch? When we're together, it's always the third branch that gets bullied. It's not easy for me to come over and deliver some food, but I still have to sneak around and be targeted by the other branches. If we separate from the family, there won't be so much trouble. Zhao Yuner didn't say that she wanted the third branch to split from the family because she wanted to split from the family. It was not that she didn't believe Liang Jinxiao, but she was afraid that Liang Jinxiao would accidentally spill the beans and let others know. At that time, it wouldn't be so easy for them to split from the family. Well, Liang Jinxiao's face was full of hesitation. It was not that she didn't want to, but there was no way to tell Hua Chunhua. Zhao Ping stretched her ears to listen. This time, it was rare for her to speak up for Zhao Yuner. Mother, I think Yuner is right. It's better for us to split from the family. Otherwise, we won't be able to eat good food secretly. Chapter 151. Zhao Yuner frowned. She knew that splitting up was not easy, but it was not as difficult as ascending to the heavens, right? Zhao Yuner thought for a moment and asked, Mother, other than our branch, do the other branches want to split up? Your eldest uncle doesn't want to split up, but the other branches do. Liang Jinxiao said. She was very clear about the situation. The reason why the eldest branch did not want to split up was because Zhao Tianlong was studying. Every year, his school fees were not small. The entire old Zhao family only supported one scholar. However, the cost of studying in ancient times was not low. A year's school fees would cost several taels of silver. Old Zhao's family had a lot of fields. During their leisure time, many men went to the town to work. If they did not have a scholar, their lives would not be so poor. The entire family's annual expenses were spent on Zhao Tianlong. If they split up, the money earned by the other branches would naturally not be used to pay for Zhao Tianlong's school fees. His life would also be a little better. Therefore, the eldest branch would definitely not be happy about splitting up. Their branch alone could not afford Zhao Tianlong's school fees. Zhao Yun thought for a moment. It would be easy to handle if that was the case. As long as the other branches of old Zhao's family all wanted to split up, then there would be an opportunity for them to bring it up. However, this opportunity needed to be created. Zhao Yun thought for a moment. This matter still needed to be considered slowly. Zhao Yun nodded at Liang Jinxiao and said, "Mother, I understand. That's all for now. We'll talk about splitting up in the future. Yun, remember not to mention it in front of others. If your grandmother finds out, it will be troublesome." "Mother, I understand." "Okay." Just as the mother and daughter were about to say a few words, there was a commotion outside the house. Not only did Zhao Wenshui come back, but the other men of old Zhao's family and Hua Chunhua also came back. "What happened? Why did you call me back?" Zhao Wenshui asked Li Chuiying unhappily. "Tianyu's father." Li Chuiying rushed to Zhao Tianyu's side and cried. She told Zhao Wenshui what happened just now. Zhao Wenshui reprimanded after hearing the story. "I was wondering what happened. Why did you call me back for such a small matter? How annoying." Li saw Zhao Wenshui's father. She was immediately displeased. "Tianyu's father, your son was bullied. Who else? If you don't avenge Tianyu, are you going to let Tianyu be bullied? Wasn't it just a child's butt? What could it be? What's more, how can a man like me say such a small matter? And it's my niece." Zhao Wenshui felt sorry for Zhao Tianyu, but as a man, he also wanted to save his face. He couldn't beat Zhao Yun, could he? He couldn't bring himself to do that. "You son of a bitch. What small matter?" "It's a small matter that your son was bullied. Why did I marry such a coward?" Li Chuiying began to cry again as she spoke. Zhao Wenshui's eyebrows twitched. "You're such an annoying woman. You're unreasonable." Chapter 152. Just now, Zhao Jing rushed over to tell them that something had happened. They thought it was a big deal, but they didn't expect it to be such a trivial matter. It even alarmed Zhao Wenshui to come back. There was no one in the family who could be worry-free, especially Li Chuiying. She couldn't help with work, but she caused a lot of trouble. Zhao Baoshan disliked this kind of woman the most. "Father, why are you all saying that? Zhao Yun, that wretched girl, came back and hit people. What's the reason for this? Besides, Mother said that she should not come back because of the shameful thing of getting pregnant out of wedlock. It's fine that she came back, but she hit my Tianyu here. This is unacceptable, isn't it?" Hua Chunhua heard what they said just now. She raised her voice and said, "What? That wretched girl came back and hit Tianyu?" "Yes." As soon as Li Chuiying saw Hua Chunhua's attitude, she knew that Hua Chunhua must be in charge of this matter. She immediately went to Hua Chunhua and exaggerated. Because Zhao Yun didn't help Hua Chunhua when she was fighting with several women last time, she was already complaining. In addition, Li Chuiying's words could be used as an excuse to stir up trouble. Hua Chunhua rolled up her sleeves and pointed at Zhao Wenshui. Second brother, go and teach that wretched girl a lesson. As Hua Chunhua commanded Zhao Wenshui, she shouted into the house and called Zhao Yun out. Seeing so many people in the yard looking at her, Zhao Yun felt like she was being questioned. She raised her eyebrows slightly and asked, "Grandma, why did you call me out? What's the matter? Who allowed you to come here? You're so unlucky. You were seen walking around with us. I thought all the girls in old Zhao's family were as slutty as you." Hua Chunhua scolded. There were two reasons for driving Zhao Yun away. Firstly, there were rumors in the village, which made old Zhao's family lose face. Secondly, they were afraid that Zhao Yun's matter would affect the reputation of the other girls in old Zhao's family. Zhao Yun smiled and said, "Grandma, what you said is wrong. Why can't I come over? We're not separated, so I'm still a member of old Zhao's family. Is it wrong for me to walk around in my own courtyard? Who admits that you're a member of old Zhao's family? If you're kicked out, then you're not. You can't come back. I don't want to see a slut like you." Zhao Yun wasn't angry. Because from her conversation with Hua Chunhua, she felt that this was an opportunity for her to establish a female household. "Grandma, your words are useless. Our Dezhou country is governed according to the law. This government office has registered that I'm a member of old Zhao's family, so I can come back." Zhao Yun spoke confidently. Her reason made Hua Chunhua unable to refute it. "You wretched girl, your eloquence is getting better and better," Hua Chunhua said angrily. Zhao Yun smiled and said, "Grandma, thank you for your praise. But what I said is the truth. After all, the laws of Dezhou country were not set by me. If this old woman says that you're not a member of old Zhao's family, then you're not. You slut, you're not worthy. Later, I'll have your grandfather and Li Zheng talk clearly. You'll be removed from our old Zhao's account." Hua Chunhua was trapped by Zhao Yun. Chapter 153. This would prevent Zhao Yun from using this as an excuse to keep coming to old Zhao's house. She would feel annoyed when she saw it and would get into trouble again. Hua Chunhua's words were exactly what Zhao Yun was thinking. Once she was kicked out of old Zhao's household, she couldn't be left with an empty household. According to Dezhou's laws, she would automatically be transferred to a female household. If this was the case, her goal would be achieved. Things went so smoothly. Under such circumstances, the household was separated. Then she wouldn't be in a hurry to separate the third branch from old Zhao's household. After all, the reason for the third branch's separation was to separate the household. Zhao Baoshan advised from the side, "Old woman, Yun just came over for a while, right? You don't have to be so ruthless. We're still a family in the end, aren't we?" Zhao Baoshan glanced at Zhao Yun, and a trace of heartache flashed in his eyes. When Zhao Yun met Zhao Baoshan's gaze, she felt a little puzzled. Why would he speak up for her? What did his gaze mean? Could it be that old Zhao's family still had feelings for people? But Zhao Yun found that after she looked at Zhao Baoshan's gaze quickly shifted away and glanced elsewhere. Zhao Yun had a feeling that Zhao Baoshan was deliberately avoiding her gaze, as if he had done something wrong and didn't dare to face Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun had an extra thought in her mind. This Zhao Baoshan's reaction was really strange. He must be hiding some unknown secret. She had to figure it out later. "Old man, why are you always protecting this wretched girl?" Hua Chunhua couldn't understand. Zhao Yun shamelessly came over, but Zhao Baoshan didn't seem to mind at all. Did he really not think that Zhao Yun's return was a disgrace to old Zhao's family? Just like what had happened before, Zhao Baoshan didn't want to chase Zhao Yun out immediately. Instead, he spoke up for Zhao Yun. Even if he was chased out in the end, he specially arranged for the old house that old Zhao's family didn't want to live in, for fear that Zhao Yun wouldn't have a place to stay. How am I protecting her? I'm just speaking the truth. Zhao Baoshan spat. Old man, the problem now is that it's fine if she comes back, but she's still being unreasonable in our house. If you don't kick her out, who knows who she'll bully when she comes back. Today's matter hasn't been settled yet. Hua Chunhua was a little agitated and looked very angry. Zhao Baoshan sighed and glanced at Zhao Yun. He wanted to say something, but didn't say it. Zhao Yun said to Zhao Baoshan, Master, I appreciate your kindness, but you don't have to speak up for me. I'll solve my own problem myself. Zhao Yun was really afraid that Zhao Baoshan would say too much and ruin her plan. If they didn't move out, it would be troublesome. Well. Zhao Baoshan shook his head. At present, only Zhao Yun and Hua Chunhua could solve it by themselves. His head hurt a little, so Zhao Baoshan rubbed it and sat on a stool aside. Hua Chunhua continued to argue with Zhao Yun. It was nothing more than that Zhao Yun should at least give them an explanation today. She also wanted to extort money from Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun had gone to the town to sell fish before, and she had made some money. Hua Chunhua meant that Zhao Yun would take out at least a few dozen coins to buy some meat for Zhao Tianyu to supplement his body, as compensation for Zhao Tianyu being beaten. Chapter 154. Beating up Zhao Yun didn't seem to be a big deal. At most, she would be able to vent her anger. In fact, she didn't gain much from it. However, after hearing what Hua Chunhua said, Li Chuiying immediately felt that if she really needed money to buy meat to eat, then she would be in for a treat. When Zhao Yun heard that Hua Chunhua wanted money so naturally, the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up into a sarcastic smile. This isn't the way to bully others. You only hit him a few times, and you want money to buy meat to eat? His butt isn't even crippled, isn't it fine? That's because it hurts. It's natural for me to hit him. If my head was hit, it would be much more serious than his butt, right? Then, will grandma and second aunt send a pig over to nourish my body? Zhao Yun's rebuttal made Hua Chunhua speechless for a moment. After all, this was indeed a little bit of a scam. Zhao Yun sneered and said, if you really want my money to buy meat to nourish your body, that's fine. However, you have to ask Zhao Tianyu to come over and continue to hit me. If he is injured or crippled, I will pay for it. You wretched girl, forget it if you don't want to pay for it. Then, I will teach you a lesson right now. Hua Chunhua was anxious and ordered Zhao Wenshui, Lao San, hurry up and catch this little bitch. Mother. Zhao Wenshui looked at Chunhua and had an unwilling expression on his face. I asked you to catch this wretched girl. Why are you dawdling so much? Lao San, come over and help me. Mother, forget it. This is not a small matter. Next time, we won't ask Yun'er to come over. Zhao Yun'er's eldest uncle, Zhao Wenshi, said. Old Zhao's fourth son, Zhao Wentao, also persuaded, yes, mother, this is such a small matter. Moreover, this matter is not Yun'er's fault. It was Tianyu who threw a stone at someone first. It's okay to teach him a lesson. Moreover, he hit his butt, not his tibia. If Yun'er really wanted to teach him a lesson, Tianyu might already be lying on the ground and unable to move. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but look at her fifth uncle again. It was rare that old Zhao's family had such a sensible person who dared to speak up. However, he was much better than her father, who was scared to stand aside when he saw Hua Chunhua was angry. Most importantly, he spoke up for her. Zhao Yun'er had a good impression of Zhao Wentao. Zhao Wentao's words made Li Chuiying unhappy. Lao San, what are you talking about? Are you saying that my Tianyu is wrong? Second sister-in-law, I know you don't like my words, but this matter is indeed your Tianyu's fault. Children may be mischievous, but throwing stones at people is wrong. If you protect Tianyu like this, you will only harm him in the future. There is an example in the village next door. When he was a child, his family didn't care about him and applauded him. When he grew up, he directly became a hooligan and in the end, he used a knife to kill people. In the end, he was caught and beheaded by the authorities. Tianyu is still young and can be educated. Naturally, we should let him know what he can and can't do now. Zhao Wentao's words were clear and persuasive with examples. Li Chuiying couldn't refute these words. Zhao Yuner couldn't help but sigh. This fourth uncle of hers had good values and could be so good at educating children. He must be a good person. Chapter 155. Fourth brother, are you doing this on purpose? It's fine that you're speaking up for this wretched girl, but now you're talking about me. Why don't you care how I educate my children? Second sister-in-law, that's not what I meant. Since it's not Yun-er's fault, let's not be so calculative. If people see our old Zhao's family like this, they'll laugh at us. Moreover, how can we bear to capture a little girl? Zhao Baoshan sighed and said, Second brother's wife, if you want to quarrel, you can quarrel among yourselves. Eldest brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother, let's continue to work in the fields. We still have other things to do after we finish our work. Father, how can you be like this? She was no match for Zhao Yun after the men left. How could she argue with her? Seeing that the men were about to leave with Zhao Baoshan, Li Chuiying directly sat on the ground and cried. If we don't work, what's the point of living like this? Our son was beaten for nothing, and no one stood up for him or said anything. I don't want to work, I don't want to work. Zhao Yun looked at Li Chuiying, who was sitting on the ground and kicking her legs. Her eyebrows couldn't help but twitch. This kind of woman was really rare. After glancing at her, Zhao Yun-er's eyes showed deep disdain. Originally, Hua Chunhua wanted to help Li Chuiying argue with her. However, at this time, a person came over, and the whole old Zhao's family focused all their attention on this person. It was not a stranger, but Zhao Yun-er's fifth uncle, Zhao Wensheng. She had not seen Zhao Yun-er's fifth uncle many times. Old Zhao's family had a scholar, Zhao Tianlong, and another scholar, Zhao Wensheng. Because he was the youngest son, Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan doted on him very much. The other sons didn't go to school, but they all went to school for Zhao Wensheng. Zhao Wensheng wasn't bad either. He was quite smart in his studies and had already passed the Xiaocai exam. Now, he was studying in a school in the town. Every month, he received money, so he didn't need old Zhao's family to support him. He could support himself. While teaching, Zhao Wensheng would also read and prepare for his exams. After all, just being an elementary scholar wasn't enough. Only by becoming a high scholar would one be able to become an official and lead a good life. Seeing that Zhao Wensheng had returned, old Zhao's family members immediately went to greet him. This was especially true for Hua Chunhua, who immediately threw all her displeasure to the back of her head. Wensheng, why are you back? Hua Chunhua giggled. To Hua Chunhua, Zhao Wensheng was her pride. One had to know that in the entire village, there were only a few elementary scholars. Hua Chunhua now hoped that Zhao Wensheng would pass the high scholar exam. When he became an official, he would be able to lead a good life with her. Mother, the school is on break for a few days, so I came back. Zhao Wensheng said. Is that so? Ha ha ha, it's good that you're back. Wensheng, you must be tired from walking back. Come in quickly and drink a cup of water to quench your thirst. Mother will cook something delicious for you tonight. Not only was Hua Chunhua happy, but Zhao Baoshan and the other brothers were also happy. Firstly, Zhao Wensheng was their brother after all. Secondly, every time Zhao Wensheng came back, the food at home would be much better. Chapter 156. Hua Chunhua was a stingy person, so she wouldn't change the food at home. Now that Zhao Wensheng was back, they could eat better food. Okay, Mom. Zhao Wensheng smiled at Hua Chunhua. Maybe it was because of his studies, Zhao Wensheng had the temperament of a scholar. He looked elegant, which was completely different from the rough men in the countryside who did rough work. Zhao Yun glanced at her fifth uncle. He was only 25 or 26 years old. He wasn't very old. However, in the countryside, men at her fifth uncle's age were all married. Zhao Wensheng's marriage was delayed because he was studying. After he passed the Xiaocai exam, he felt that marriage was troublesome. Because of his family, he would be distracted more or less. He wanted to wait until he passed the Jiren exam. Therefore, his marriage was delayed until now. Zhao Wensheng walked into the house, and Hua Chunhua asked Li Chuiying to go to the kitchen to get some water. Second brother's wife, get a pot of water. Your fifth brother is back. Help him quench his thirst. Li Chuiying saw that Hua Chunhua had forgotten what had just happened, so he said to Hua Chunhua with a crying face, Mom, Yun. Before Li Chuiying could finish, he was stopped by Hua Chunhua. Your fifth brother is back. Hurry up and get some water. Nothing is more important than your fifth brother's return. Obviously, Hua Chunhua didn't want to help Li Chuiying anymore. Li Chuiying stamped his feet unwillingly. Okay, Mom. Before Li Chuiying turned around to go to the kitchen, he glared at Zhao Yun. Anyway, he couldn't just let it go like this. The corners of Zhao Yun's mouth pulled out a smile, with a bit of provocation. I'm not afraid of you. After returning home from old Zhao's house, Zhao Yun was in a good mood. Although they had encountered a strange situation, the separation of households was a good start. If she separated from old Zhao's family, she would really cut off all ties with old Zhao's family. Then, everything she had would have nothing to do with them. Otherwise, no matter how much money she made now, she would still be the target of old Zhao's family in the future. Zhao Yun went back to her home. In the afternoon, she took care of the vegetable garden, fertilized it, and watered it a little. The seeds that she sowed had already sprouted some buds. Zhao Yun then went to the foot of the mountain in the field. There were no vegetables at home, so she could only bring some wild vegetables to eat. Fortunately, it was spring and there were many kinds of wild vegetables. Zhao Yun searched for a while and picked half a basket of wild vegetables. Just as she was about to go back, she saw a red figure and a gray figure in the forest. Zhao Yun seemed to have heard a scream. She wondered if something had happened, so she walked in the direction of the sound. When Zhao Yun walked closer, she found that the person in red was Xiao Hong, and the person in gray was Lu San, who had peeped at Zhao Yun taking a bath. Lu San stood in front of Xiao Hong with a flirtatious smile on his face. Xiao Hong, you're really beautiful. No woman in the village is as beautiful as you. Lu San, what do you want? Xiao Hong looked at Lu San in horror. At home, she had also heard some rumors and slanders behind her back. Lu San was very lecherous. She couldn't afford to provoke him. There were many girls in the village who had been defiled by him. Chapter 157. Xiao Hong certainly knew what Lu San meant by having fun. She took a few steps back in horror. Lu San. What are you playing with? It's not fun at all. Lu San grabbed Xiao Hong. Xiao Hong, look at you. I'm just having fun with you. Do you have to be so nervous? It's okay to have fun with me. I promise you'll be very comfortable. Looking at the obscene smile on Lu San's face, Xiao Hong was so anxious that she was about to cry. If she was defiled by Lu San, how could she get married in the future? Lu San, no, no. Brother Lu, I won't beg you. Please let me go, okay? I'll give you whatever you want later, as long as you let me go. Lu San shook his head. Xiaofan, you don't mean anything. Since we're having fun together, we should be open. What do you mean by that? There's no one here. Why don't we? As Lu San spoke, he suddenly held Xiaofan in his arms. Xiaofan screamed. She was almost scared out of her wits. Lu San, on the other hand, wanted to reach out his mouth to Xiaofan's neck. Xiaofan was just a woman after all. Her strength was no match for Lu San's, so she struggled hard but failed. Zhao Yun looked on from the side and was very angry. Lu San was really a bad man. How could he flirt with a woman in the village so openly? Such a disgusting man should be shot to death. According to the laws of the 21st century, rape would be sentenced to many years in prison. When she had been a police officer, she had caught many rapists. Zhao Yun was angry, but when she saw that Lu San was flirting with Xiaofan, she didn't want to save her. This woman had slandered him like that before. He hadn't even properly settled the score. This time, she deserved it. Zhao Yun was not a saint. She had a sense of justice, but that was a habit she had developed after being a police officer for many years. However, she knew that she hated being petty and held grudges. If others had done her wrong in the past, she would make them pay for it. After thinking for a while, just as Zhao Yun was about to turn around and leave, she accidentally stepped on a branch on the ground and made a cracking sound. The sound was so loud that even Lu San and Xiaofan heard it. Xiaofan and Lu San both looked at where Zhao Yun was. When he saw Zhao Yun, Lu San's hand movement paused. As for Xiaofan, after some unusual emotions flashed in her eyes, she immediately looked pitifully at Zhao Yun. Sister Yun, save me. Zhao Yun touched her forehead. Now she couldn't run away even if she wanted to. If Xiaofan hadn't seen her, it would have been fine. Now that she had seen her and asked her for help, if she really left Xiaofan behind and didn't save her, it wouldn't be good. After all, if Xiaofan was defiled, this matter would become a big deal. If Xiaofan said that she had seen it, she would be drowned in the spittle of the villagers. Zhao Yun felt very helpless at this moment. She looked at Lu San and then at Xiaofan. Sister Yun, it was me before. I apologize. This time, please save me, okay? When Xiaofan said that, tears flowed down from the corners of her eyes. Chapter 158. She didn't really want to save Xiaofan. She just didn't want to be the subject of gossip in the future. She also knew that Xiaofan was a very scheming woman. If she didn't save her this time, who knew how many ways she would slander others in the future. In addition, Lu San had indeed gone a little overboard. Previously, Lu San had been defeated by Zhao Yun. He knew that he couldn't beat Zhao Yun. Seeing that Zhao Yun wanted to intervene again, he looked at Zhao Yun with some fear. Zhao Yun, this has nothing to do with you. You'd better stay away. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Although he said that, Lu San pulled Xiaofan back a few steps. Zhao Yun curled her lips. Then why aren't you being polite? If you don't let Xiaofan go, then I'll shout. If people come and catch you red-handed, you won't be able to escape punishment this time. Xiaofan suddenly said to Zhao Yun, Sister Yun, don't shout. Zhao Yun didn't understand, but Xiaofan still shook her head at her. Xiaofan was really afraid that many people would gather around to watch. After all, this wasn't something to be proud of. Even if Lu Sanjing didn't do anything to her, there might be rumors about it. Anyway, she was a virgin. It was best not to attract any gossip. How can that do, Sister Xiaohong? Lu San is in the wrong. Everyone should see what kind of person he is. It's best if Li Zheng chases him out of the village, Zhao Yun said loudly. Xiaohong was very angry, but she still suppressed the anger in her heart and bit her lower lip. Lu San was really intimidated by Zhao Yun. He couldn't beat Zhao Yun. Now that Zhao Yun said that, he was afraid that people would really come. The consequences of being caught on the spot weren't ordinary. After thinking about it, Lu San angrily pushed Xiaohong out. It's boring. I don't want to play anymore. After Lu San finished, he was afraid that Zhao Yun'er would catch up with him, so he ran away quickly. Looking at Lu San running faster than a rabbit, Zhao Yun'er's mouth evoked a sneer. This Lu San is not as bold as he looks on the surface. I am still afraid that he will really cause trouble. Seeing Lu San leave, Xiaohong's tense heart finally relaxed a lot. But because she was too scared, Xiaohong couldn't help but sob. Are you alright? Zhao Yun'er walked over and asked faintly. She still did not have a good impression of Xiaohong. Even though she looked pitiful, she still did not have a good impression of her. Sister Yun'er, thank you so much for what you did today. If it hadn't been for you, I don't know what I would have done. If I had been raped by Lu San, I wouldn't have been able to live anymore. Xiaohong cried pitifully. Zhao Yun'er stood aside. She didn't know how to comfort her, nor did she want to comfort her. Xiaohong said again, Sister Yun'er, I misunderstood you last time. You won't blame me, will you? I apologize to you now. Thank you for saving me today. I'll ask my parents to send you some things later. I know it's hard for you to raise a child alone. Xiaohong seemed to be very close to Zhao Yun'er at this time. If it weren't for the previous incident, Zhao Yun'er would probably think that Xiaohong was a good girl. She seemed to be a considerate girl. Especially her eyes, which were glistening with tears. Chapter 159. Zhao Yun shook her head in response to Xiaohong's kindness and gratitude. She rejected her flatly. It's okay. I didn't help much, so you don't have to give it to me. Xiaohong still looked at Zhao Yun'er pitifully. Sister Yun'er, do you still blame me? Zhao Yun didn't know what to say. Xiaohong had a rich imagination. What could she do? Zhao Yun'er forced a smile. Xiaohong, you think too much. You said it was a misunderstanding, so you don't have to take it to heart. By the way, what are you going to do about Lu San's matter? Are you going to tell Li Zheng and ask him to seek justice for you? Xiaohong shook her head and said, No. Sister Yun'er, thank you for saving me today, but let's forget about Lu San's matter. After all, he didn't do anything to me. Although it's his fault, I'm still afraid that there will be some gossip. Zhao Yun nodded. She knew Xiaohong's concerns. After all, it had nothing to do with her. It was Xiaohong's own business, so she could deal with it herself. So she said, okay, you can do whatever you want. I'm just suggesting. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, she turned around and was about to leave. Xiaohong called out to Zhao Yun again. Is there anything else? Zhao Yun'er asked. Sister Yun'er, about what happened today. I hope you won't tell anyone. I'm afraid people will gossip. After Xiaohong finished speaking, she looked at Zhao Yun'er's reaction. Zhao Yun pondered for a while. She knew what Xiaohong meant. She replied flatly, got it. Sister Yun'er, thank you. It's okay. Be careful when you go back. Zhao Yun'er left with her basket. Xiaohong was still standing in the same spot. Looking at Zhao Yun'er's back, a trace of viciousness flashed across her eyes. After Zhao Yun returned home, she began to prepare lunch and put the bullfrog away. This time, Zhu San also helped Dao to catch the bullfrog. She really had to buy some candies when she went to town tomorrow. The next morning, Zhao Yun went to Yang City with her basket. Her fifth uncle, Zhao Wensheng, had also come along this time. The reason why Zhao Wensheng returned to Sun City was to buy some Xian paper. When he was in town, he used ordinary paper, but for people who liked calligraphy, the best way to write was to use rice paper. However, Xian paper wasn't cheap. Although Zhao Wensheng had saved enough money, he could only buy Xian paper in Yang City. The town was too small to buy it. When Zhao Wensheng saw Zhao Yun, he was quite polite. Yun, are you going to Yang City? Zhao Yun nodded. Yes. Why are you going, fifth uncle? I'm going to buy some Xian paper back. If I don't buy it this time, I'll have to wait until the next school holiday. Oh, I see. Zhao Yun felt relaxed talking with Zhao Wensheng. His voice was pleasant, and when he spoke, it made people feel like they were bathing in the spring breeze. Zhao Yun immediately had a good impression of Zhao Wensheng. Chapter 160. Although Zhao Wensheng made a lot of money, he still needed to buy some books, brushes, ink, paper, and inkstone, so he spent a lot of money. Therefore, Zhao Yun couldn't accept Zhao Wensheng's money, but she accepted Zhao Wensheng's kindness. Maybe because Zhao Wensheng's age is only 7 or 8 years older than her, the difference is not big, or maybe because Zhao Wensheng is a scholar and has more knowledge, Zhao Yun and Zhao Wensheng talked very congenially, laughing all the way. She was living a better life now, and she didn't want other people's help. She thought Zhao Wensheng was a scholar and would be very rigid, but Zhao Wensheng could tell jokes from time to time. Zhao Yun really had a new understanding of her fifth uncle. The women in the carriage became interested in Zhao Wensheng. After all, Zhao Wensheng was a scholar. They felt that he would be a good worker if he taught in the town. It was much better than doing farm work in the village. Therefore, they started to chat with Zhao Wensheng. Wensheng, why aren't you married at your age? Your mother didn't help you find a wife. Why don't I introduce some to you? My eldest niece is 17 years old today. She's pretty and diligent. Wensheng, my niece is 16 years old this year. Although she's a little older than you, it doesn't matter. I'll introduce her to you later. As long as you like each other, it's fine. Facing these women's enthusiasm, Zhao Wensheng was a little embarrassed and unaccustomed. Zhao Wensheng smiled at those women. Well, thank you for your concern, but I don't plan to get married now. Wensheng, I don't want to criticize you, but look at you. You're already so old. In our countryside, there are few people like you. You're about to get married when you're 25 years old. Yes, otherwise it'll be difficult for you to get a good girl at your age. Zhao Yun sat aside and sympathized with Zhao Wensheng. Zhao Yun had the feeling of a modern person's 7 aunts and 8 aunts urging her to get married. If it were him, he wouldn't be able to bear it. Aunts, I really thank you for your good intentions, but Wensheng really doesn't want to get married right now. Even if I do get married, I have to get my parents' approval and let them take care of it. If the aunties really want to introduce him to Wensheng, you can tell his parents first. When Zhao Wensheng spoke, he was very scholarly. After reading for a long time, he had developed such a habit of speaking. That's true. Auntie should go back and talk to your parents. Zhao Wensheng's words caused these women who were originally pestering him to stop talking. Zhao Yun couldn't help but smile. It seemed that her fifth uncle was quite clever. After the carriage arrived at Yang City, Zhao Wensheng pulled Zhao Yun to the breakfast shop to have breakfast. Fifth uncle, there's no need. You can eat. I'll treat you to a meal. I haven't had the chance to treat you before, Zhao Wensheng insisted. Zhao Yuner saw Zhao Wensheng's attitude and nodded. All right then, fifth uncle. You can treat me this time. When I earn money in the future, I'll treat you to a meal when I treat you. Of course. Chapter 161. In modern terms, it wasn't very expensive, but it tasted pretty good. Such a breakfast was sumptuous. After a while, Zhao Wensheng and Zhao Yun finished eating together. Yun, where are you going later? Do you want fifth uncle to accompany you? Zhao Wensheng asked. No need, fifth uncle. You go buy your things. I'll be fine by myself. Zhao Yun shook her head. She didn't want Zhao Wensheng to follow her because she didn't want him to know that she was selling bullfrogs. It wasn't that she didn't trust Zhao Wensheng, but she felt that the fewer people who knew about this, the better. Otherwise, Zhao Wensheng might accidentally spill the beans one day and let others know about it. Alright, fifth uncle will go sell his things first. If you're better, we'll meet up at old man Hu's place. Okay, fifth uncle. The two of them parted ways. Zhao Yun walked around with the basket on her back. After confirming that no one was following her, she turned to Fulin restaurant. The reason why she was so cautious was because she was afraid that someone would follow her. Some women in the countryside were still very evil and couldn't bear to see others doing well. She came to town with the basket on her back and the bullfrogs at the bottom. However, she put some wild vegetables on top to cover it up, making people think that she came to Yang City to sell these things. When she arrived at Fulin restaurant, the manager, Sun Zhongquan, welcomed her warmly. Miss Yun, you're here. Looking at Sun Zhongquan's enthusiasm and the smile on his face, Zhao Yun roughly guessed that her bullfrogs had been praised well by the customer. Manager. Zhao Yun also greeted Sun Zhongquan. Zhao Yun walked over and put down the basket on her back. Then, she took out the bullfrogs. The bullfrogs she brought over today were a little more than last time. The children caught more bullfrogs yesterday. Sun Zhongquan took it with a smile and immediately instructed the restaurant's chef to prepare it. The customer who tasted the bullfrogs yesterday specially came over today and ordered this dish. At this time, Sun Zhongquan didn't have any ingredients here, so he was very anxious. Zhao Yun brought bullfrog over and heaved a heavy sigh of relief. Miss Yuner, quickly come in and have a seat. Sun Zhongquan's enthusiasm indicated that he could start discussing business with Zhao Yuner. Zhao Yuner nodded, and the two of them went to a small compartment in the restaurant. Miss Yuner, this bullfrog is not bad for the time being. The customers like it very much. They say that they have never eaten it before. I reckon that your bullfrog will attract a lot of customers in the future, so I want to settle this business with you. Sun Zhongquan said. His attitude was sincere and he was willing to cooperate. Zhao Yuner was also a little excited. Seeing that she was about to succeed in this business, she knew that she didn't have to worry too much about money in the future. Since shopkeeper is so straightforward, Yun is also very happy to cooperate with you. Then, Miss Yuner, let's set the price of this bullfrog first. Zhao Yuner thought about it for a moment. How much should she set the price? According to the price of bullfrogs in the modern era, it was only 6 or 7 yuan per catty. If she set the price according to this, it would naturally be a loss for Zhao Yuner. Therefore, the price must be raised. At least, it was more expensive than the price of chicken, duck, and fish. After all, bullfrogs were a scarce thing in this era. It was normal for them to be more expensive than chicken, duck, and fish. Chapter 162. After Zhao Yuner finished speaking, Sun Zhongquan was silent for a while. He seemed to think that the price quoted by Zhao Yuner was a little too expensive. Zhao Yun'er persuaded, "Manager, you know that the rarer the thing, the more expensive it is. I don't have a lot of bullfrogs. I can only send you 20 kilograms of bullfrogs at most, and I can only make 40 plates. Miss Yun'er, I understand what you're saying, but can't you lower the price? In fact, it's only a few coins higher than the price of pork. It's really not expensive. I can't give you the price of pork. You must have sold a lot of pork today. If the price of this thing is the same as the price of pork, you won't be a rare thing, right?" Sun Zhongquan couldn't refute Zhao Yun'er's words. The rarer the thing, the more expensive it was. If it was really a good thing, it wouldn't be excessive to raise the price. Besides, the customers did like Zhao Yun'er's bullfrogs. The price of the ingredients was raised a little, but the price of a plate of Sun Zhongquan's dish was far more than that. After thinking for a while, Sun Zhongquan said, "Okay. Miss Yun'er, let's settle it like this. I'll give you 20 coins for 500 kilograms of bullfrogs. You can send me as many as you have in the future." "Great." Zhao Yun'er nodded in agreement. She was very happy to cooperate with Sun Zhongquan. Sun Zhongquan took out a pen and ink, and began to write a document. This ancient document was equivalent to a modern contract. Both parties had to write down the previous conditions of the contract, and then sign it. It was to prevent both parties from going back on their words in the future. "Come on, Miss Yun'er, have a look." Sun Zhongquan said with a smile, "Miss Yun'er, you can't read, right? If you can't read, you can take the document back first and find someone who can read to confirm it. If you feel that there's no problem, just leave your fingerprint here." Zhao Yun'er knew what Sun Zhongquan meant. If Sun Zhongquan read it to Zhao Yun'er, it might not be true. It was very likely that Zhao Yun'er would cheat her because she didn't know how to read. Although Zhao Yun'er knew that Sun Zhongquan wasn't such a person, the fact that he could remind Zhao Yun'er like this showed that Sun Zhongquan's character was really good. And Zhao Yun'er liked to deal with such people. "Shopkeeper, I can read." Zhao Yun'er smiled and picked up the document to read. When Zhao Yun'er said that she could recognize words, Sun Zhongquan was slightly shocked. He didn't know that this little girl from the countryside could recognize words. It seemed that Zhao Yun'er wasn't as simple as he thought she was. However, he thought that Zhao Yun'er wasn't simple at all. After all, Zhao Yun'er was good at talking when it came to business. She didn't seem like an ordinary country girl at all. After reading the document, Zhao Yun'er made sure that there was no problem, then she picked up a pen and signed her name. She had specially practiced calligraphy under the influence of her grandfather when she was a child. Although she wasn't very good at it, her handwriting was very delicate and beautiful. There were 2 copies of the document. Zhao Yun'er and Sun Zhongquan each had 1 copy. "Miss Yun'er, it's a pleasure to cooperate with you. How many kilograms of bullfrog did you send today? I'll go to settle the bill now." Chapter 163. According to the price set by Sun Zhongquan, she only paid 220 copper coins for the 11 catty bullfrogs she brought over today. Zhao Yun'er was overjoyed to receive so much money in one go. If she could earn more than 200 copper coins a day, she would be able to earn 300 to 400 copper coins if she caught more bullfrogs in the future. She would be able to save a lot of money in a year. Although this amount of money could not be compared to the rich people, it was definitely a huge fortune for a country bumpkin. When she slowly saved up money, her life would get better and better. After receiving the money, Zhao Yun'er prepared to buy some candies. She turned around and just as she was about to go to Fulin restaurant, she saw Mu Lianfeng walking towards her. Zhao Yun'er stopped in her tracks and blinked her eyes to confirm that she was not mistaken. Was it really Mu Lianfeng? Why did she bump into him every time she came here? Wasn't it too much of a coincidence? Zhao Yun'er did not have time to think so much. Mu Lianfeng had already walked in front of her and smiled at Zhao Yun. Miss Yun, what a coincidence. Zhao Yun put away the surprise in her eyes and smiled at Mu Lianfeng. Yes, what a coincidence. Young Master Mu, why are you here too? I just came here to eat. The bullfrog you sent over yesterday was very delicious. I want to try it again. If that's the case, then come in. I just sent some over. If you came early, you would probably have to wait and not be able to eat it. If you came late, it would probably be sold out. Now is just the right time. Zhao Yun smiled faintly and invited Mu Lianfeng into the house. She was already very happy to be able to see Mu Lianfeng today. However, there was no reason to stay with Mu Lianfeng any longer. It was better to leave. Hence, she bid farewell to Mu Lianfeng. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Wait. Miss Yun, Mu Lianfeng reached out as if he wanted to hold Zhao Yun, Realizing that his behavior was a little abrupt, he withdrew his hand. Zhao Yun looked at Mu Lianfeng in confusion. Young Master Mu, is there anything else? Mu Lianfeng tugged the corner of his mouth. Since I happen to meet you, why don't you come in for a meal? The dishes in this restaurant are not bad. Zhao Yun was stunned. Was Mu Lianfeng inviting her? She was excited and did not want to reject it. Especially when she met Mu Lianfeng's mesmerizing and soul-stirring eyes. But what would happen if she agreed to it? What would her interactions with Mu be considered to be? The more she interacted with him, the deeper her feelings would be. She was afraid that she would not be able to control herself. What if she liked Mu Lianfeng too much? There was an unbridgeable distance between them because of their identities. Since that was the case, she should not give herself too much fantasy. Zhao Yun smiled bitterly and shook her head. No, young Master Mu, you can go eat by yourself. I still have to buy some things and drive the ox cart back. But Mu Lianfeng took a deep look at Zhao Yun. He found that he had no reason to keep Zhao Yun. He sighed softly. All right then. Miss Yun, if you have time next time, I'll treat you to a meal. Zhao Yun nodded and agreed first. But who could say for sure if she had time in the future? Mo Yen, who was behind Mu Lianfeng, glanced at her master and then at Zhao Yun. She could see some clues. Chapter 164. He had clearly been waiting at Fulin restaurant for quite some time. When he saw Zhao Yun come out, he hurried over and pretended to run into her by coincidence. This was the first time he had seen someone go through so much trouble. After all, Mu Lianfeng was the most handsome man in Yang City. His status was extremely high as well. Even the young ladies of the capital would be infatuated with Mu Lianfeng. However, he had never looked at any woman properly. Now, for a woman, he had come so early to wait for her. He had even gone through so much trouble to come up with an excuse to invite her to a meal. In the end, she had rejected him without even letting out a fart. Heavens, Mo Yen rubbed his forehead. Was this really the master he knew? If he liked a woman, he would chase her without hesitation. Even he felt anxious for him with such efficiency. Of course, Mo Yen did not consider Zhao Yun, her status or who he liked. He supported Mu Lianfeng to be with any woman. Thinking about how Murong Shuang was so unruly despite her status, Mo Yen still felt that Mu Lianfeng should find a slightly more ordinary woman. Status was not a problem. The main thing was that he liked her and was gentle and considerate. Otherwise, he would not have married a wife, but an ancestor. However, Mo Yen glanced at Zhao Yun a few more times. Why did this woman seem so familiar? He felt like he had seen her somewhere before, but he could not recall where. Cough cough. Mo Yen coughed twice. Once Zhao Yun was a few hundred meters away, Mo Yen whispered to Mu Lianfeng, "Master, I'm not trying to criticize you, but if you like her, you should be a little more domineering. You finally found an opportunity, but she rejected you with just a few words." Mu Lianfeng glanced at Mo Yen. Mo Yen immediately stood up straight and stopped talking. His face also became cold again. Fine, fine, fine. He should not have said it. However, with his master like this, he could guarantee that chasing a girl like this would not work. Hiya! Out of the way, out of the way. A few horses suddenly appeared not far away. The girl in front was dressed in red and held a long whip in her hand. Her beautiful hair fluttered in the wind. The way he spurred the horse was very handsome. The woman was none other than Murong Shuang, and the one riding behind her was her maid. When Zhao Yuner left, she was thinking about something. Her mind was filled with Mu Lianfeng and the disappointment in Mu Lianfeng's eyes when she rejected him. Wasn't this man's attitude towards her a little too good? They had only met by chance, and could not even be considered good friends. Why was he acting like this? Zhao Yun did not notice Murong Shuang's voice because she was thinking about all these messy things in her mind. By the time he reacted, it was already too late to dodge. Even though Murong Shuang managed to pull back the whip in time, Zhao Yuner was still severely injured. His entire body fell to the ground. His knees were red and swollen. The skin was scraped and bleeding. Murong Shuang did not feel guilty at all. Instead, she scolded Zhao Yuner, "Are you blind? Or are you deaf? If you know that I'm coming, you should get lost as far as you can." Murong Shuang's arrogant attitude made Zhao Yuner a little angry. Was it really okay to be so unreasonable? You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.